This episode's brought to you by Audible. Remember, guys, you can read a book. We'll have a book read to you.
With your ear.
With your earballs. If you go to audibletrial.com/Horror Virgin, get 30 days free and a book to get you started. Get your earballs on, nerds. audibletrial.com/Horror Virgin.
We made a Scream spoof in high school that Todd,
I wasn't in.
Brian, our buddy Brian was the
He was the
killer
guitarist in my band in high school.
Anyway, welcome to the Horror Virgin.
Oh, yeah, we have a podcast.
Because most people don't know who the hell we're talking about.
Right.
I'm Clint.
I am the Virgin Todd.
And I'm Jennifer.
And
fuck you.
Oh, my God.
And one last note
my God.
about my amazing Scream screenplay. The ending that I wrote...
I'm sorry. I had a lot of Red Bull.
Right up by your
I had a lot of Red Bull. Holy shit.
I have all day. Are you done?
And I will tell this story. I will wait you out. We're trying to distract him.
Oh, my God.
Never
Clint,
mind.
I don't think
we just got done watching
You know,
Scream.
Yes, we did.
No, I want to know the story. What happened at the end?
I was just going to say the ending. Well, I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but the ending...
Oh, is your Scream 4 going to get produced? Are you worried about releasing
You're not a
anything from
producer.
Scream 4? Holy shit.
You know there's already a Scream 4.
You know what? Hey, those Scream spoofs that we made, Todd, with Brian in them, even though they were a fucking joke and we made them for like $10, when you got to the last like 10 pages, it said for producers only. Like nobody knew the endings.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
That's how seriously you took yourself.
Honestly,
oh, yes.
We did take ourselves seriously in some of the movies we did. I mean, even though they were
That's
like...
how you get shit done.
Even though they were no budget and they were really just fun. We had a lot of fun making them. We took it seriously.
So for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Todd and I actually used to run an indie company, and if you really, really want to try to search for it, there's some shitty stuff on YouTube that we made.
It's great. I mean,
it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Anyway, the ending to my Scream script. Wes Craven ended up using that I don't know Wes Craven.
We are going to sue his ass.
Just great minds think alike. Wes Craven used the same ending in a very shitty werewolf movie called Cursed that he made with Christina Ricci. So the ending to my Scream movie was the killer chases...
Were they werewolves?
No, the killer chases the main character into a
S and
horror
Curse
museum.
A dollar sign?
Was this the Teen Wolf crossover we've been waiting for?
Jason Bateman, Michael J. Fox.
Teen Wolves,
dollar sign.
I can't tell you anything.
I'm into it.
Todd.
Yes.
What did you think of Scream?
I honestly, so the first 15, 20 minutes I hated until I was cued in that it's supposed to be funny. And then I sort of...
is the best part of the whole movie.
Well...
I mean,
so you didn't like the movie when it was trying to play it straight?
No,
because the first 20 minutes are like...
Are they trying to play it straight?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, no. In the first 20 minutes, they're kind of trying to play it straight, and then they get more.
Well, when we get into the movie, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Can we?
Did you like this movie? I like this movie.
Yeah,
I'll go
I
ahead
told
and
you
say
you would like it.
It is not good.
Wow.
But I liked it.
You don't even know what you're saying.
Just exploded and then started typing angry emails to us.
It wasn't a good movie, but you liked it?
Are they all 45? Why are they still emailing us?
I type emails. That's how I remind
Jen.
myself of things. I'm not 45.
See, here's why I'm curious as to what you thought, because normally I don't care. I think...
So true.
So you have watched a lot of meta stuff with us. Like even Behind the Mask we just did.
Yeah.
And so
I love that movie.
And it's
Nathan,
been
I love you.
how many years since this movie?
96.
We're coming up on 20 years.
22 years?
Coming up
Look at
on
that
20.
fast math,
Oh, I'm
guys.
so wow, yeah, 22.
Welcome
22
to the math
years.
22
podcast.
years.
Welcome to math. You do the math. Math.
Yeah. So there were so many fucking knockoffs of this movie.
Yeah.
And so there's no way to send you back in time
and I know what you did last summer because you guys have talked about it.
And
I
we already
haven't seen
watched
them,
Urban Legend too.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Total
had
knockoff. Covered a few.
Urban Legend came out after this?
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah.
Like 98?
Because Scream really started this whole thing. This
and you guys have mentioned that before on previous podcasts, and I do remember that.
Anywho.
Apparently Columbine messed up the plans for the Scream 3 script too.
And a bunch of
Really?
kids' lives.
Yeah.
What was it? What happened with Scream 3?
I don't know, but apparently Matthew Lillard was supposed to be in it.
Oh,
And they
well,
had to buy
Matthew
him
Lillard was
out.
controlling things from jail. I remember reading a version of that
Yeah, well, I think that
draft.
on Dak Shepard's podcast, he had Matthew Lillard on, and they talked about that a little bit.
Scream 3?
Well, he talked about how he was supposed to come back in Scream 3, but Columbine put a kink in those plans because
Interesting.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a thing. But I honestly thought Seth Green was in this movie, but it was Jamie Foxx.
It was Jamie Foxx.
Jamie
Kennedy. Jamie Kennedy.
Wow.
I know you get those two confused,
I
Jen.
do. They look just alike.
I have been waiting to shoehorn that in for a week.
Have you? That's
Were you surprised that weren't you thrown off because the character was funny and you're like, I didn't know that was Jamie Kennedy because he was funny for half a movie.
Who?
Jamie
Foxx.
Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy was funny in this movie?
I thought you said that.
Did I miss it?
I thought, well, maybe it was Matthew Lillard. You thought somebody was funny.
No, I thought
in this.
Matthew Lillard was the only person who knew what movie he was in, and he was acting to the movie he was in.
false.
No.
This
Are you
movie is
slamming Skeet Ulrich's acting,
Oh,
yeah.
sir?
Skeet Ulrich.
Have you ever seen Chill Factor?
No.
I rest my case.
Is that a real movie?
And America.
Anywho,
Well, some people do.
Who?
When you're really loud, they hear.
Oh,
can't help
loud and
but hear.
misogynistic. Kate Dangerous.
007.
I honestly love Kate Dangerous.
I do.
She's the only one who's honest with me.
Oh, I'll be honest with you.
Can we just go through this
yeah,
fucking
we do
movie?
need to go through this movie.
Yeah.
How long has it taken us to derail ourselves completely?
did you have any idea what this movie was about? Did you know anything about like Ghostface is the killer and like
I
how
knew
much did you
Ghostface
know?
was the killer.
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 Wow.
Ghostface killer. Nailed it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm topical. It's fine. So white. And I knew it was a slasher. And I knew like Courtney Cox was in it. I knew people who were on the cover I knew were in it.
But you genuinely thought that Drew Barrymore was going to be
Was
the
the
star of this
star.
movie, right?
Well, she at this point was the most famous out of all the people on the cover. When the DVD menu came up, I was like, oh, cool.
because that was the whole point. Back in '96, nobody
Right.
knew anyone except for her, and they
Yeah.
thought that so she was supposed to play Sydney.
Yes.
And then she decided to play that first part because she thought nobody will see this coming. If they
Yeah.
think I'm the star.
Well, and I
then-
read she had some unexpected commitments come up, so that was like a happy accident.
Oh,
what, like
so-
Mad Love with Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, no, it wasn't Chris O'Donnell, was it?
Yeah.
I remember that movie though. She had all the
Then he
flowers.
put her. He
Oh,
got her in
yeah,
Batman
and
Forever,
was, like,
so she
all
played
crazy. Yeah.
Sugar or Spice. I know which one, but do you know which one, Todd?
What the fuck
You don't
are we
even know what's
talking
happening.
about? Batman Forever?
She was in Batman Forever.
They've
It's one
only
of
made 3
Two-Face's
good
girlfriends.
Batman movies, and all of them have been Christian Bale. I hated all the Batmans before
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
You could
I
just
agree.
both of you can just get the fuck out of my sight. Have you ever seen a Michael Keaton Batman movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I grew up on Michael Keaton Batmans because they were the first two.
Eh.
Batman Returns, I might give it to you because Batman Returns is about circus sewer ninjas.
Yeah.
Which is the
And
one-
It's a weird
weirdo
fucking
penguin.
movie.
Hey, let me just ask this. The very first Batman with Michael Keaton is the one where the Joker pulls the pistol way out of his pants.
That's the first one,
And
yeah.
shoots down the bat plane
Yeah,
with a
that's-
goddamn
it's the
fucking
Bat
pistol.
Wing.
It's so dumb.
Bat
it is
Wing.
such
Get
a
it
dumb
right.
movie.
Comic book.
You know who shouldn't be
Motherfucker.
allowed to direct Batman movies? Tim fucking Burton.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't hate Tim
I
Burton.
do like the part at the end
Not a
where the
huge
Joker's
fan.
laughing. The ha
It's fine.
ha 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 ha. I like that part. That's the whole thing.
You've been talking about the same movie?
Yeah.
Michael Keaton will always be Mr. Mom to me.
Oh, Michael Keaton will always be multiplicity to me. Clint is having a stroke. Clint is 1,000% having a stroke right now. Holy shit. Oh my
You're
God.
embedded into the microphone.
Do you not love movies?
All right,
Hawkeye.
let's get into this movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. So it was really significant that Drew Barrymore was in this because she read the script and she approached the studio to be in it, and she was the one who was able to get lots of the big name actors in it. So if she
that's
had
interesting.
abandoned it, when instead
The
of
big names like David Arquette.
well, yeah, but that was significant too because it used to be horror was full of nobodies, and people would get their start in horror.
Was Nev
And
Campbell on Party of Five by the time this
She
started?
was on
She
Party
was.
of Five.
So the movie starts with Drew Barrymore making Jiffy Pop. I
Yep.
remember that.
About to watch a movie.
Oh,
I
yeah?
love the opening to this movie because it proves to me that all my useless movie trivia will one day save my life.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
Boom. Take that, mother.
The beginning of this movie is so awesome. Like this
Yes.
Okay, but
could
why?
be the best
But
short
why?
horror
Well, it
short
peaks in
ever.
the beginning, to be honest. As far as
I
as
love
far,
the end, but
Well,
yeah.
as far as gore, it peaks in the beginning for sure.
No, okay, so let's get to that point. Okay, so
Yeah.
whatever. She's doing Jiffy Pop. She's gets a phone call, and it's the killer's voice, right? So they're
Yes.
talking back and forth, but she hangs up on him a few times, and he starts to
Calls her like 6 times.
lose his mind. Oh,
Yeah.
give or take.
So maybe not answer the phone the second time. I mean, she would still get murdered for sure, but you take away all the fun for him.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Why not just call the cops?
Well, she tried, and he kept calling back.
Yeah.
Like
But
there
if you
were
hang up
lines where
and then call the cops.
Well, there were times she tried to do that. She's like, "I'm calling the police," and then it rings again.
I think because she didn't really believe that anything was going to happen until
she
went
saw her
down.
boyfriend died.
Yeah. And
I
then
know
she
you
just
like
freaks
gore.
out.
I thought
yes.
this was really poorly executed when he was duct taped to the chair, and then you just hear the sound of him dying.
Well,
Don't see
okay.
anyone
All right.
out there killing him.
Originally, you get to, and not in the version we watch, but originally you get to see
Like in the theater?
sort of like a it's also on cable. I don't know where I thought this was the DVD too. I thought the DVD I had this, but you see him getting gutted from behind and like guts fall out of his stomach, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
So he
they
went to
cut
jail?
that. They cut
He got
that.
gutted from behind.
Oh my
Nailed it!
God.
Anyway, maybe
That's
that was
what you have to
maybe
edit.
that was some unrated version that I saw. I don't know, but you're right. The MPAA cut that.
Oh yeah, he
and,
had to submit 8 different cuts of it, and specifically one of the things they made him take out was the guts moving. Like you could see them already on the outside,
that was
but
the
they
best,
wouldn't let him
though.
show them moving. So you've probably
But-
seen one of those
Like
cuts.
yeah.
And so what he did, because they still wanted him to take more out with Casey's death and Steve's death, but he lied to him and he said that he only had one shot of it, so he didn't have any alternatives, and they just believed him and let him
But
get away with
anyway, in the cut that we saw, you
Right.
don't see the killer. You only hear a sound of him getting sliced.
Right.
And then you hear the sound of his guts falling
in the
out.
boyfriend shot.
Because
Yes.
the first time you see the killer is not him weirdly kneeling behind some guy's chair. It's his ghost face right in front of her face.
Yeah, you
and
know what
that
would've
is a
been-
better reveal of what the killer looks like. But how would you do it if you wrote the screenplay, Todd? I'd love to hear it.
I would have killed the boyfriend in a different way.
Oh, how?
Yeah.
Or I would have done the face reveal before I killed the boyfriend. So the boyfriend doesn't have to get ghost murdered where you don't see the murderer. You just hear him being murdered by the sound of his guts spilling out.
But are you aware
it was
that he's
really
getting
fucking
murdered?
stupid. No. I had
do
no idea he
love-
was getting stabbed or he was being disemboweled until the shot of her looking out the window and you saw him all bloody for no fucking reason.
I mean, it almost was cut to make it look
It
like
was
this had already
real
happened.
shitty.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
It was
I
real
don't think it was
shitty.
shitty. I think they sacrificed that
I mean, I
to
liked
have a better reveal of Ghostface and to have a better, like her going through the process of gradually realizing how fucked up shit was. Like if she had seen Ghostface before her boyfriend died, then I don't know. I don't think it would have been as effective.
I do like that the first glimpse you get of Ghostface is him running in the hall. Like she sees
Yes.
him running, I don't know, somewhere in the den or something.
Yeah, through the den.
Not like weirdly
What would've
being
been-
behind a chair.
What would have been cooler? She has to turn on the lights, and she just hears him screaming, and then she eventually turns the lights back on to see him disemboweled. If they can't show it,
Yeah.
then do
Sure,
that.
sure.
Don't make it seem like she can see him.
I think we're getting too hung up on something
Yeah,
that wasn't their
it doesn't
fault. Like he
well-
tried to shoot it to make it
Yeah,
make
maybe.
sense.
That's
and
fair.
also
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I don't care if I get to see his guts falling out.
I don't
Still
care
But I do
either.
like
I
that he
would-
didn't cut the power to the house. I like that.
Right. Because you see the smoky popcorn smoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
They still do a good job of,
Oh, yeah.
of scaring the
Smoky
shit out of
popcorn
you in this.
smoke. I liked that.
Trademark.
So,
So,
anyway,
okay,
there's
so-
like a big, there's like a big, he's basically setting her up. Like, look, he was going to kill her no matter what.
Or should we just start saying they?
Spoilers,
Yeah,
guys.
Because-
If
that's
you
true.
happen to like horror and somehow have not seen Scream, we're going to spoil this movie.
You don't think there were, you don't think both of them were there for this, do you?
I do.
I don't think there were.
I think
don't
they were
know.
both
Oh
there.
no! Wait, no! Tatum said that
that Stu
Matthew
was with
Lillard
her, yeah.
is his name? Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember like
So this is just Billy doing this, and then he, I guess, hike-tailed it over to Sydney's and snuck into her
Well,
bedroom.
who the fuck is Billy?
Billy
Billy
is
Skeet Ulrich.
Okay,
Skeet
never
Ulrich.
use their character name because
Okay,
I'm
Skeet.
never gonna know who the fuck we're
not our
talking
brand.
about.
We use nicknames only.
Who's
So-
their nickname? Jen? Who's their nickname?
Skeet
I'm out. I'm
Ulrich
just
will
gonna
now
go
be
home.
known as Jericho. Everybody
Yeah.
fine with that?
I'd rather hear that than poor man's Johnny Depp over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I would definitely stop having sex with someone who kept saying that to me.
Well, this would also make sense
I know
because
too much. I know too much.
this would also make sense because Matthew Lillard, his character knew nothing about movie trivia, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that this was Billy.
He seemed like more of
or
like a dumb
Jericho.
fan.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard, I hear, is delightful.
He is.
But Stu was lovably
I met him.
stupid.
I think Matthew Lillard's the best part of this movie.
Yeah,
by
he's
far.
really funny.
By far.
He's a little over the top for me sometimes, but towards the end, I think it makes up for it. But I remember after this movie came out, people would like analyze like who was the killer then and who was the killer then, and like it had to be Matthew Lillard at this one point because Billy would have known that her closet door opened that way and wouldn't have let himself get trapped that way, and then it had to be, you know. And
I think it's very
just,
well constructed.
It was, yeah, and I think it holds up. And I just remember people like, and it might have been you, like going over and over and over and over how this could have worked, you know.
I do think it, in general, overall, the movie does hold up. I didn't see it in 96 or whenever you guys saw it, but I do think it holds up, and I do think plot-wise, it sort of makes sense. And one of the reasons I think I like this movie is because the jump scares were, it did get me at some points where I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, fuck, like Hereditary, where I stood up and yelled fuck. At the very beginning, where we are right now in the movie, when the chair gets thrown through from like the patio or whatever, that startled me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, some of the stuff when she was getting killed was a little disturbing. Like, you see her get stabbed, like in the upper chest. I probably not her heart because she's still alive, but like that was a little like, oh God. Like,
I mean, this stuff still haunts me because it, like when your parents show
up,
and then
that was brutal.
Then the mom goes crazy and she like hears her struggling on the phone.
Not my daughter, like I tear up
God.
every time.
I do like, well, maybe not like is the right word, but
you were affected by
when the dad was like, take the keys, drive, like he was trying to protect her from seeing anything.
Yeah.
You know, so he was gonna like call the cops.
Do you
or
think
whatever.
that he saw it first?
No, I think he was.
There's
I think he was trying to
just
protect
knew
her.
that they were gonna find
I think
her.
they were, or the killer was still there. Or whatever.
Because I thought that was a little bit dangerous to send her out there by herself.
He was sending her out to the car.
Yeah, go to the car, go to the neighbors or wherever.
Go get help.
Right, go get help.
They can't use the phone.
Right.
And her being hung from the tree is still just.
I did not expect that.
Oh no!
Yeah, well,
No.
you don't expect Drew Barrymore to die in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
I think I even said that.
You did say that.
It surprised me. Yeah.
Yes, screenwriters, you win.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, I guess not really screenwriters you win.
Just
it's
Kevin
really
Williamson.
Drew Barrymore had other commitments, so she switched roles. So if that had been
the
Naomi
creator of
Campbell,
Dawson's
is that who it
Creek
was?
and his genius,
Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell. If that had been Nev Campbell, I wouldn't have been surprised by her dying because Nev Campbell at this point was not a nobody, but you know, much less famous than Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. I got your lungs to go.
You've never got my lungs to go.
That is not true. I have audible evidence.
Speaking of audible. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Let me tell you about Stephen King.
This is why this
Send
podcast works. All right, so that's the first scene, right?
someone save me.
Clint's
So-
just scrolling through Bumble.
The next thing,
I am doing research. Thank you very much.
research on chicks you can bang later tonight. So anyway, so that's
wild side
that's
I've heard.
that's the first scene. So is the next scene just them going to school? Mm-hmm. The next scene after Drew Barrymore dies is they go to school, right?
Yeah, they're at school.
And that's where you meet
Reaction at school.
Is it Nev?
Nev
Campbell, Skeet.
Sydney. I'm going to call her Sydney. She does not get a nickname. She is Sydney. Fuck you.
So Nev Campbell and Skeet and Lillard and
Tatum is her name in the movie. Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
So they're
I'm gonna
all
call her 10.
They are. Yeah, she's wearing that 10 t-shirt. A fucking 10. And honestly, Rose McGowan back then, she was not bad looking. I'm not saying she's bad looking now, but
I don't know if I sign on to anything she wears in this movie, but yeah, I'm sure that wasn't her choice.
that garage scene, man, she was wearing the right bra for that. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my gosh.
We'll talk. We'll get there.
We'll get
Guys,
there.
Guys,
Todd
we'll
will
get
have
there.
some comments, I'm sure.
Spoiler alert. It was real cold in that garage.
Yeah, when she opened the fridge and everything. I'm not refrigerating the whole garage. And that's when we learn that like something bad has happened with her mom. She drops the hint a little bit. She's like, it's the worst murder they've ever heard.
Yeah, so
in
there's
the
a bunch
town,
of chaos
except for-
going on.
Oh, I mean, not your
The news is there.
Okay,
like, multiple
news
news
with
outlets
Courtney
are
Cox.
there, and then
apparently
Courtney
one of
Cox.
them is Linda Blair, but I was not able to locate her.
Can we talk for a second about how Courtney Cox in these movies, she always seems like some sort of independent reporter that has her own news van and
she's top story.
Well, yeah, but she never
Story.
communicates with
Story.
anybody with her. She never communicates with anybody with her show.
She's kind of a loose cannon. She's probably just really mean to her editor. Naomi Watts does whatever she wants in the ring, right?
That's true.
Yeah, she really
I guess they do whatever whatever they want.
Well, when you're that good at your job, you can just kind of do whatever you want, and they have to take it.
They do,
Yeah.
Well, Todd brought this up a lot, but I really forgot how abusive she is.
Oh, she is a bitch to Kenny Powers.
Verbally and physically abusive to her cameraman.
Apparently they were hesitant to cast Courtney Cox because she was on Friends at the time and they didn't think she could convincingly be a bitch. She was like, oh no, let me show you. Okay, so yeah, they're at the school. And that's when, this is one of my favorite parts. The kids are all sitting on the fountain and it's the first time we meet the 5 main kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We got Randy and
Who the fuck
Jamie
is Randy?
Kennedy,
Jamie Kennedy.
Okay.
You're going to have to refresh me on these names.
Rose McGowan, Matthew Lillard, Nev Campbell.
We can just
and
use their real names.
Skeet
Skeet.
Ulrich.
Oh,
Ulrich.
Skeet,
Yeah.
Jericho.
So it's so a lot of things are
I'm going to have to edit all that out.
a lot of things are set up here.
Yeah.
You know, like they're taking jabs at each other. Like maybe you could at him.
Yeah.
Maybe you
But
did.
it really
me.
is Skeet and Lillard who are going after each other, kind of saying, maybe you killed her, maybe you killed her.
Yeah.
They are the killer.
Well,
It's
and then
fun to
at
go
one-
back and watch it a second time.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Skeet at one point says, nobody said you did kill her, you know? And I
Yeah.
was thinking, I like Matthew Lillard in this scene a lot. Matthew Lillard.
I mean, this is his prime.
I know.
Honestly,
This
yeah.
is his prime.
Yeah. He was-
96 to like 99.
when was he Shaggy in the Scooby movies?
That was after this.
I know, but
I thought you were going to be like, when was he in Wing Commander?
to me, this time period through that is like his heyday.
Yeah, what else was he in?
Well, every Freddie Prinze
Scooby-Doo?
Jr. movie, so she's all that. Wing Commander.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't a lot
Summer
of stuff I
Catch.
didn't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I avoided
He's pretty
it.
great though. Like I really do think he's great in this movie.
Okay, so apparently he got cast in this on accident. He was with his girlfriend at the time on a different audition, and somebody just saw him in the hall and wanted him to audition, and that's how he got the part. Oh, okay. Sydney goes home and takes a sad nap because
Oh, yeah.
her
That
mom's
was a
on the
really
news.
long. I don't remember that sequence being so long.
It was like daytime to nighttime.
Yeah.
So, it was a good nap.
But
Like,
there's a lot of her like walking around, and then she looks at her mom's picture, sad.
That's when we learned that
Yeah.
her mom was murdered almost a year ago.
right,
today.
almost a year ago, 363 days
Almost
ago.
a
And we did kind of gloss over the scene where Billy goes up to her room.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the-
that's
yeah, yeah.
important.
The
That's
Reaper.
important just to note that the dad said he was going out of town on
And gave
business.
Yes.
all the details to Billy, which I was
Yeah.
thinking as I was watching it this time, but I think that's the first time I'd ever thought about that.
I never
Like,
thought
oh.
about that either.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
So you
because Billy
think-
was in
yeah.
the room, not under the bed, but on the other side
on
of the bed.
yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, and this is when Nev Campbell the first time refuses to sleep with him. For good reason, because he does not wash his hair.
Yeah, that man has not showered.
We made
In 45
a ton of Skeet Ulrich looks
Oh,
jokes
yeah.
during this movie.
Did I tell you he's on Riverdale right now?
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
I was super jealous of her nap, though. I
Oh,
can't remember the
my
last time I was
gosh,
able to
I
sleep in the
know.
day. Like, that shit is the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then you don't-
she
it
was
doesn't
in
matter
high
when you wake
school
up.
and she was depressed.
Yeah.
And there's also no one else at home to bother her.
Yeah.
That's true.
Except for, the killer.
Right. Anyway, so yeah,
And
she
he
wakes up from the
does.
nap and the killer calls her.
Yep.
Tatum's called. Tatum's about to pick her up.
Yep.
No,
And
no,
like
Tatum's
and-
just going to come over and they're going to watch a movie, right?
well,
I think-
she's going to pick her up, go
and they're
back
gonna
to
go to
their
their store.
house.
Okay,
They're going to watch
okay.
Risky Business, remember?
Right, because if you pause it just the right spot, you can
False.
see Tom Cruise's dick.
All the right moves.
All
Oh,
the
that's
right
right.
moves,
That's
yeah.
right.
Come
yeah.
on, Jen.
But
I
you can
haven't
still see
seen
Tom
either of
Cruise's
those
dick.
movies,
All the right moves is a great flick.
but only if you pause it just right.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen either one of those.
You haven't seen
Back
Tom
when
Cruise's
everybody
dick?
wanted some Tom Cruise dick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Nobody
I was never
wants
really
to-
that into Tom Cruise.
I wasn't either. I was more of an
I don't know.
Iceman man.
Yeah, dude. I like
I see.
All right, so the killer pops up.
He's hiding in the closet.
No, the
Pretty
killer
sure.
yeah, he is hiding in the closet.
Yeah.
He calls her and then says he's on the front porch. She goes out, picks her nose on the front porch,
And
kind
she-
of calls
and
her
he's
There's a
bluff.
little bit. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of chatter. She tries to hang up. He's like, "You're gonna die just like your mother."
Yeah, and that's when she's like, okay.
This is not Randy. She thought it was Randy. It's not Randy.
But Randy would never say that because Randy loves her.
Yeah, Randy does love her.
Randy loves her throughout the series.
Oh my God, I
know.
can't believe how much I don't
this
care
isn't
about
this
Jamie.
isn't the end of Jamie Kennedy, Todd.
No,
Stay
it's
tuned.
not. Yeah.
No, the end of Jamie Kennedy was when he did that White Rapper movie.
No, I thought it was the
Damn.
mask.
That was
too,
the
Son
end of
the
Jamie
Mask.
Kennedy.
Don't be hating.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Jamie Kennedy, get on this podcast.
Wait, maybe the Jamie Kennedy experiment was
By the end of
I remember
by the
Yeah.
end of the Scream series, it's like Jamie Kennedy's the star, right?
What?
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
No.
he's the real final girl.
Well, she goes back inside, Ephraim being on the porch, calling the killer's bluff,
Yes.
and he pops out of the closet.
Yeah, she
right by the
hangs
front
up
door.
on him, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, and then he pops out of the closet. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
dude is, I don't know if he's on ice skates throughout the whole movie, maybe rollerblades, but this motherfucker cannot stay on his feet for nothing.
It's not the right time to kill her, so he has
That's
to
true.
pretend or let her, take advantage of him.
And
a
this
little
is
bit.
also one of the things that makes me love this movie and a new development in the final girl, because this is a new kind of final girl, is one that will actually fight back like significantly, like not with a knitting needle
Oh,
or
no,
not with
she's
his
kicking
own
and- yeah,
weapon.
she's, like, going after him.
Yeah, like
So-
Tatum like throws a beer bottle at his nuts and his face,
We'll
like
get there.
whamming
Yeah.
him with doors and everything.
Whamming
I
him.
loved it.
Yeah, and we'll
Yeah.
get to this later, but like in the sequels, it's like Nev Campbell's got fucking guns
Yes,
like everywhere.
She's like Linda
so
Hamilton. Well, and even in this scene, like he says he's on the porch, she goes outside
Yeah.
to see.
She
you
goes
know?
to- yeah, she's like,
So
"Let's
I think
do
you
this."
immediately see the difference between her and Drew Barrymore, who was just scared the whole time and doesn't really do anything. And Neve Campbell, like, gonna kick some ass.
I mean, her mom
afraid.
was murdered. She doesn't have time for this shit.
Yeah. One of the things that makes her a new kind of final girl is that she takes charge of her own narrative and she doesn't let the killer drive the story. She takes control.
She puts out.
That's true too.
Yeah, she puts
Eventually.
out.
She makes
Eventually.
the
Which I don't
choice
think.
to do
Yeah,
it.
I don't think enough people give her credit for putting out.
I agree.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna
Consider it.
be a tough chick if Ray Donovan murders your mom. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Although he
Fucking
did
Ray Donovan.
Liev Schreiber
Dude, he's
in his
in this for
little
2
cameo.
seconds. Yeah.
I saw this
I was
one.
with you, Jen. I always remembered him being in this more, and then he really doesn't pop up till Scream 2.
Until
but
Scream 2.
So she runs up to her room.
Yep, and she's just said the killer
you made
that
a note.
should be
You made a
running
note
out the
of
door
this.
instead of up the
Yep.
stairs.
Well, she says it on the phone to him. I don't like those scary movies because the
Big-breasted girl, should be running out the door, runs up the steps. She should be running out
And
the
I
front
remember
door.
the trailers to this movie. They had her saying that cut with like Tatum in like her big boobs moment, and then like everything that she
I feel like
says
every
in that
scene
thing.
is a
It
big
is
boobs moment
spoofing
for her, yeah.
itself
It is
while
spoofing
simultaneously reinventing the slasher
That's
picture.
why this movie is genius.
Fucking
And
amazing.
I really
because
did enjoy
it still
that.
functions as a scary movie
Yep.
while also referencing and satirizing scary movies.
Yeah. It is sort of
Amazing.
like maybe a better. I hate saying this because I really do prefer Leslie Vernon to this, but it does have a lot of Leslie Vernon-esque moments.
Yes.
But I feel like this stays truer to the slasher movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Leslie Vernon is more of like a mockumentary.
Yes, this
But I
still
fucking
does
love that
function
movie.
as a slasher movie.
Yes.
And they keep doing that with Wes Craven, like Scream 2 spoofs the sequels, and Scream 3 is a play on trilogies, and Scream 4 makes fun of the remakes.
Yeah,
And
New Nightmare too.
oh, love
Which
New
is
Nightmare.
just a meta. Yeah, I do too. I think Wes Craven is probably my favorite horror director. They offered this too because he originally said no because he was working on The Haunting. He was
The
kind of
Haunting.
Yeah, but it
the
felt,
Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones Haunting.
I don't know. I think that because it said this one fell apart, so it might have been an earlier version of it. They approached Rodriguez about it, Danny Boyle, George Romero, and Sam Raimi to direct.
Okay.
Which, if you can just imagine how different this movie would have been with all of those people directing.
Rodriguez might have been close to Wes Craven
Yeah.
just because he teamed up with Kevin Williamson later on.
I think so. She can't get out the door, so she runs up the stairs like
Right.
she just said you shouldn't do.
Well,
And-
yeah, but the door was locked.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Didn't she
No,
lock it though?
She did. The
Yeah.
chain is on, and I think it's legitimate. It's legitimate why she does that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like I just think it's interesting that she had just said that, and then they specifically showed her do that.
I always
Because the
remember
script
that
is
shot from the
smart.
trailer where she gets on the computer and she's like 911. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
she's like
I know.
aim chatting with a
was like, How would you
911
do this?
operator. Yeah, it's weird.
with the black screen and like the red.
What's
and
your
white
emergency?
text.
I'm trapped in a 90s movie.
It would have been really funny if the 911 operator said A/S/L ? So she runs upstairs to her room.
Yeah.
She locks the door
She
and then
does the
opens
closet
her.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Smart,
she did to her
smart.
dad,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is why it's got to be Matthew Lillard. The two things, the reason I think Matthew Lillard was the person in the closet is because motherfucker can't stand his feet, and that's very Lillard.
Yeah.
I just
Very
imagine,
Lillard.
yeah, I picture him as like a
Lillard-esque.
weeble wobble type device who can never stay on his feet, but is always managing to get back up.
Yeah.
Well,
but
also,
he
Billy
doesn't know
showed
her
up
door
almost
can do that.
immediately,
right?
too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't know that door does that because he wasn't in the room that night. The
Yes.
dad came in, and then when he is at the door, Skeet Ulrich comes in the window and then walks to the wall. And I do hear there was some sweat on his balls.
No. Ooh.
That's the song. I don't know, man. It's not my fault.
I don't know that part of the song.
I didn't. Oh, you've never seen the movie where Betty White sings that?
No, I have
Oh
not.
God,
What
it's
movie
so
is
funny.
that?
I think it's The Proposal. So that's that scene, and that's when the cop shows up. That's when Dewey dipshit comes and shows up.
Oh, I love Dewey.
And he's holding the.
You gotta watch Scary Movie,
He's
man.
He's holding the Ghostface Killer mask right by the door.
Yeah.
And then they open it, and he's like, "Yeah, that." I mean, honestly, I understand why Courtney Cox fucked the shit out of that guy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He is a
Got those dark
dweeb
eyes.
as fuck, but he's pretty.
He's
funny.
adorable, yeah.
he's
I mean, if you
like-
watch the special features on this, or special features of basically any David Arquette movie, like he is on drugs for
Oh,
like
yeah?
20 years. Like he just doesn't make any sense when he's talking.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy's high as fuck.
Well, and he's just weird in general.
He's
you
usually
know?
the best part of these movies, though.
Yeah.
Is he?
Acting wise, yeah.
Is that 'cause
well, you
Matthew
kept
Lillard
like
isn't
there were
in any
parts
of
where
them?
like maybe you were on your phone or whatever, and like Jen and I would laugh, and you would look up, you were like, what did you guys laugh at? We're like, his facial expression.
Right.
Oh,
because
yeah,
of that moment where he said you have to kill a couple more to be a serial killer, and he looks at her like, and she says, and we can hope, and his eyes widen for just a second. He's like, what the fuck did you just say?
He's got the best. Yeah.
You missed it.
I think Matthew
he gets
Lillard's
funnier
much better
as
than
the sequels go on.
He does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's a fan favorite for sure.
Sure.
And I wonder if he was originally supposed to die, but he was just so lovable that they just threw him back in.
I mean, it does look like he does die. I mean,
Exactly.
It's
They
only
could
the
have
reveal
ended the
of
movie with him.
It was
dying.
definitely one of those where when I saw Scream 2, I did not remember that he lived.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah?
Because
I mean,
if you're missing that last part with a thumbs up.
yeah, they
you've already
very
gone
do
with
clearly show him being wheeled out in a stretcher, but not like covered.
Yeah,
Like he's,
the thumbs
I
up.
think he's even, eyes are open going into the.
Yeah, he's like writing
the
his
ambulance.
number down and throwing it at Courtney Cox.
Remember me!
Yeah. I'll see you in the sequel.
And at our wedding.
Oh, I don't
Well,
think
they got married.
They did get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is when Rose McGowan gets super bossy with her brother.
I love this part.
Yeah. So
Dewey boy, we're ready to go.
yeah. So the
Don't
news
even
crews
tell
are
Mom.
outside. Gail tries to get in. They won't let
Yeah.
her in. And then,
But this is where they arrest. Do they
There-
arrest
there-
or just detain?
Yeah, there was a
Skeet?
really entertaining scene with Skeet Ulrich and his super shitty father.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know if that was his dad because he said when he called his dad, nobody answered.
It might have been his lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
I
it
don't
was.
know. It might
Well,
have been
his dad
lawyer.
came down later.
Maybe it was his. Oh, okay.
Because the sheriff called the dad.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, he
that's
does. He
right.
does say that. So that
Yeah.
probably is his dad. Yeah.
The dad, I mean, they just made the dad look shitty, just
Yeah.
like like a 90s
What'd you say
shitty.
with just his outfit, we know that he's a terrible father.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although his wife left him. What's he supposed to do? His wife was
Well,
screwing Sydney's mom. No, wait. His
You,
wife was
Wow.
you got
screwing-
that totally back.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
he was screwing Sydney's
That would have
mom,
been an
yeah.
amazing twist.
Oh well, there's a
little,
twist like that in Scream 2. where
Spoilers,
you're like,
man.
You're not gonna
Oh,
remember
yeah.
shit.
And I honestly don't give a
I'm gonna
fuck.
watch that like
It's
a year
not-
from now. So basically, they're covering that. Like they keep hounding Billy.
They want to
and
get his cellular telephone.
cellular.
Oh my God, I've
Man,
never
they
heard-
don't say cell phone once.
No,
else.
they say
It's
cellular. Yeah.
Cellular. And what was the name of that fucking cell phone company? The Vox Cellular Incorporated or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Sprint, Verizon, Nextel, or whatever was around. It's
And
like,
can we talk about the
horrible.
shitty police work in this movie? Like the excuse they always come back with is like, "Well, everybody sells this Halloween mask, boss.
Right.
We can't look
There's
that.
no
We
way
can't
we can
figure that
trace
out.
it."
Do you know how many cell companies are like?
Yeah.
It's just there's too much of everything.
I mean, they do
Everybody has a
eventually-
cell phone.
But I think they're kind of trying to set up that the police chief might be the murderer too.
well, they do because
I never
there's
once
a
considered that.
there's a scene with his, yeah.
Remember, they show his shoes, which are the same shoes as the bathroom.
Oh, the
when
black-
feet
As
were-
Boots.
Matthew Lillard in the bathroom. It has to be Matthew Lillard
Because they
because
just
that
talked to
motherfucker
Billy.
kept slipping on the floor.
But guys,
Yeah, and she just talked to Billy.
guys, everybody shopped at Hot Topic back then. Everybody
true.
had those black boots.
Even the cops, man.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of the scene, though, is when David Arquette says, "Damn it, what did Mom say? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law." That's my favorite part.
Well, because Rose McGowan is shitting on him.
She really is.
She's being a bitch.
I mean, he's got red plastic handcuffs on his desk.
Yeah.
And they are not fuzzy.
The
fun
kind of
handcuffs.
plastic handcuffs you buy because you and your girlfriend are sort of experiencing and like jumping into a little light bondage and you don't quite know what to buy on Amazon, but you want to be able to play it off like it's a joke if your
Yeah.
friends find
so
it.
you take it
but
to work
yeah.
and you stick it on the monitor of your computer
Listen,
just so everyone knows you're real
He's
weird.
clearly an idiot. So yeah, he does not know what is going
Oh my God,
on.
these last couple scenes were the scenes where Skeet Ulrich dials it up to 12 with
Yeah,
the
he
annoyance,
does.
man. He's always in the background like, Sydney!
Yeah.
Oh, look at me.
My hair is floppy in my face, but I
It's
still
not
love
really
you.
his hair is like a steel beam.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so much grease in his hair. It's gross.
I'm surprised it's not actually sticking to his face.
I think it might have been.
There.
The sheriff tells him to go out the back door because the news people are out front.
Oh, that's right.
So they
So-
go out the back door,
so
and
the-
only Gail figures
happens in the
out
back
that.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
back
yeah.
there.
So the chief wants him to get out the back door.
yeah,
Real quick,
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Oh, this is where Courtney Cox gets a facial.
Gets
right next to that back
gets
door.
So after the backdoor action, Courtney Cox get a facial from.
Nev Campbell.
Yeah.
Sydney. Yeah, so that's when we find out that Courtney Cox is writing a book about Sydney's mom because she does not think that.
I think it already
Liev Schreiber
was
already killed him.
published.
I don't think it was published because
No,
in
it's
that
coming
scene,
out.
yeah,
Because she
Oh, okay.
says
it's probably done writing, but the
coming out
release
next
dates.
year.
Yeah.
I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, and then she says,
Bam!
And
This
then
goes
Rose McGowan,
down.
this is the part that yeah. I'll send you a copy. Bam! Bitch goes down. Sid, super bitch.
oh yeah, that's
that
the
part.
next scene when they're at Rose McGowan's
they're
house.
having
She's
their
playing with the
slumber
stuffed
party.
animals.
She's like a 32-year-old woman playing with a stuffed animal.
Everybody
Yeah,
is
with her
so
pigtails.
fucking old in this movie, which Scary Movie makes fun of a lot.
Yeah.
They
So
don't.
they're at Rose McGowan's house and they're talking on her bed. And doesn't she get a call?
Yeah,
and the
she gets a
mom's
call.
like, she's like, hey, Sydney, you
I
have a
don't
call.
think it's your dad.
Is it your dad? I
She's
don't
like,
think so.
I don't think so.
And so
Yeah, I
that's-
don't think it's your dad.
That's Billy's alibi now.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got the wrong guy again.
Which they said, like, he could have used his one phone call to do that. Although I don't think the police are going to let him use the voice disguiser thing on the payphone at the jail.
Yeah, that's
No,
a
they
little
probably
weird.
would have confiscated any sort of voice disguising software.
Yeah, so that's
Exactly.
definitely Matthew Lillard
Yeah,
calling.
it is Matthew. And then Dewey comes running out after they fucking
With a gun in his
Todd and
hand.
Dewey said hello at the same time
Yeah,
when he picked up
because-
the phone. It was
yeah.
so funny.
Because it's a dumb. Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
So then they're back at school
Yes, they are back at school.
talking
Yep.
about some
And,
stuff.
and this is where you see the Fonz,
Yeah.
but you also see people dressed as Ghostface Killer running through the hallway.
Running through the hallway, yeah,
You
yeah.
see at least two of them, right?
yeah. And then we see them in the
Principal's office,
where he gets
and
those
he's
scissors.
getting real handsy with
Oh,
those scissors.
yeah.
He is all up in their grills, getting real handsy with
He's
those
getting
scissors.
snippy.
Oh, super snips.
It takes him like 60 seconds to expel them. It's like,
Yeah.
you're both expelled. Get out.
Hey, but they're lucky they didn't get murdered because
Yeah.
he's just flailing those super sharp scissors all over.
Oh
the place.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
dude.
is not giving fucks about Edward Scissorhands.
It's
Like,
probably a
he's
good
just going
idea that the
after it.
principal got killed, because if it were the next day, it would have been the parents in that office being
Yeah.
like, what did you do to my kids?
Right.
You called
Yeah.
them little shits. You threw scissors in their face.
Yeah.
and expelled them.
Getting killed probably was better.
But this is
That's
where we
how they
see
solve these
Fonzie
types of plot
Scissorhands?
problems.
Fonz Silverhands.
Fonz Silverhands.
I messed that up.
Fonzie.
And
Scissorhands.
Fonz
shortly after he gets killed in his office,
Hey.
there's a nice little cameo with Wes Craven
That's
playing.
yeah,
before.
yeah.
That's before it happened.
Huh?
You said after. It's
He's
before it
already
happens.
expelled all the people. No, and then we see Billy and Sydney in the hallway.
Yes.
And he pressures her to have sex and shames her because
She's like, "What do you
she
want
just-
to put out?" Well, my
He was
mom
basically
died.
like,
I'm
your mom
depressed.
died a year ago. Why aren't
Right.
you over
It's a
it?
year
ago.
ago tomorrow, Clint. That's what she was like.
In Scream 2, they start the movies within movies, so they make a movie about the events
Yeah.
of Scream, and Luke Wilson plays
Oh, that's
Skeet
right.
Ulrich.
And who is it? Tori Spelling?
Yeah, so they reinvent this scene, and Luke Wilson's like, I think you just need to get over
Yeah,
it.
it's like 15%
Oh my
dumber.
god, that's actually how I see Owen and Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
Owen's fine, and Luke Wilson's about 15% dumber. Okay, so anyway, I almost said Billy Zane is shaming
Billy
Nev.
Zane.
Wow.
No, if it was Billy Zane, she would have put out day one
Yeah,
after her
she
mom was
would
murdered.
have.
So Clint's eyes are so wide
I've
right
never
now.
heard of anyone being like,
Clint.
Billy Zane's sexy.
Clint,
Yeah, he
you
was a
can't say
model.
no to
Have
Phantom.
you seen?
You can't say no to the
Phantom?
Phantom.
He's in Titanic.
I got confused because you didn't say the Phantom.
Sorry,
Todd.
you can't
Oh,
say no
sorry.
to the Phantom, Clint.
The Phantom.
Phantom is a different
He
movie.
makes his own look. That's what's so hot about him.
Someone's a real
Willie could-
Zane head over here.
Too
I know
bad he
one
killed
movie he's
himself
been
after
in.
Jack Dawson stole
Wait,
his
two-
girlfriend.
Oh,
Aw.
Just throwing it
What
out
are we
there.
talking
He saved
about?
that little girl.
What the fuck are we talking
Hey,
about?
Jack Dawson, Dawson's Creek, Kevin Williamson, Scream. Boom. Back to Scream.
Boom. Sorry, I didn't mean to flick you off. It's just a natural
I don't know what just
reaction.
happened. I
can't
blacked
help
out, but
All right,
let's
so
go.
You blacked out and just started saying names of horror movies.
Skeet Ulrich is sort of Weinsteining this chick
Yeah.
into having sex with
Maybe
her.
that's where he learned it on the set.
So Fonz is getting murdered.
Oh no! So no. Sydney goes into the bathroom and here's
Simultaneously, yeah, like she's in the
and here's the two girls talking about how slutty her mom was.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Apparently, they wanted to cut this scene out. And
Why?
What I don't know. They just didn't think they thought.
I like this scene.
Well, that's what Wes Craven said, and Wes Craven insisted that it was in there.
They think it was too
Williamson-
vulgar,
No,
like
he
her
just
talking
thought
about
it
her
was
mom.
like out of place.
No,
Okay.
I liked
So
it,
he was
and
gonna
I'll
cut
tell you
it.
why I liked it. And it's not because cheerleading outfit, although I didn't hate that either.
Yeah.
And it
Also,
wasn't
two
because
35-year-olds.
it wasn't because the other chick looked like a gay man about to do a slam poetry session at Greenwich East Village in 1950. But it's because it wasn't like jump scary.
Yeah.
But it was creepy. You saw like the feet
It
come
was
off
very
the toilet.
creepy. I still
and then
think when
you
he's
see the
whispering her
costume,
name.
Yeah. You see
I
the
still-
costume
yeah.
come down on the
The
floor.
air conditioning is on.
Yeah. Ooh.
Do you think they're both?
definitely
You think
on her
they're both in
period.
action right now? Like Billy's in the bathroom and Stu's in the principal's office.
Oh yeah, I guess they would have to be.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, I do
Although
think
they
that
probably should have waited to kill the principal until more students were gone. 'Cause
Yeah,
remember,
and there
the
was
school
also a
pretty
little
big.
the
bit of,
principal kill does come a little bit after the bathroom scene.
Oh, no, you're right. It has to be Billy because he was super, super late to the party and somebody had to go string him up to the football field.
And Billy was just shaming Sydney in
Is
the
Billy
hall.
Skeet Ulrich?
Yes.
Okay, fuck.
Yeah,
What?
and his name is Billy Loomis, which is
I don't give a fuck what
Sam
his real
Loomis
name is.
Sam Loomis from Halloween.
Who cares?
Well, we're watching it
We
next
care.
week.
I've never
Spoiler
seen it.
alert.
You're on a horror
But you're about to.
podcast.
But I've never seen. Do you know what the premise of the podcast is?
Yeah, you saw Halloween here.
And you know how Drew Barrymore's dad sent the mom to the Mackenzie's house? Same place that Jamie Lee Curtis sent the kids in the original Halloween.
Cool.
Go to the Mackenzie's house.
All right.
Anyway, boom.
So Sydney makes it out of the podcast alive. Fuck. Sydney makes it out of the bathroom alive.
I'm in your head now.
Henry Winkler, the Fonz, does not A his way out of the principal's office. He gets killed.
You've been sitting on that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't make it to Arnold's that evening.
No, he did not. That jukebox is never going to work
No.
again.
You know what Arnold's is?
Yeah.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, I've seen
Wow,
that
was that
teaser
what you were just
video.
looking up on your
yeah.
phone?
Yeah, well, no, I looked it up during the movie.
No,
that
he didn't.
jukebox will never not skip again.
Yeah. In the closet, his Fonz jacket is hanging up there.
No shit.
Yeah, when you said he has way too many clothes.
Oh, yeah, he
for
has
someone
the
who has
clothes
not
of a
left his
divorced
wife.
man. Yeah.
And he sees Wes Craven in the hallway dressed as
Freddy.
As
Freddy
Freddy,
Krueger,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
calls him Fred.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, what happens after he gets murdered, though? I honestly don't remember what
Well,
what
right
scene's
after
next.
that,
He's already canceled school.
He has, and
Yeah.
so Matthew Lillard is outside telling Nev Campbell and Rose McGowan, like, "Hey, I'm throwing a big party at my house. You guys bring
Right,
food,
because school's out for the
yada yada
forever.
yada." And then we cut to, I guess it's the front of Rose McGowan's house, and she's blasting "School's Out for Summer"
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah,
window.
and then Tatum and Sydney are having a talk about
like,
on
hey,
the porch about maybe
like,
my mom really was doing it with a whole bunch of people.
yeah, faux
Which,
show,
you know, it's
faux
fine,
show.
you know,
Because
that's what
Gail
you're
got in
into.
her head earlier about like,
yeah, you don't really believe
I don't think
that
it was Cotton.
did.
Yeah.
because apparently Sydney was the star witness in this trial
Against
and-
Cotton.
Yeah, against
my
Cotton.
firstborn's name, by the way, Cotton Weary is going to be his name.
Oh my god.
This is when they go to the store, though. This is when they go to
They
the
go to the
grocery
store. Now this is where it gets
And this
fucking
is when-
ridiculous. Where
Yeah.
Ghostface is following them in the store.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, this is a little bit Halloween-y where you just look up and you see Michael Myers standing there, although I don't think it's executed as well. Somebody's going to see you wearing that ghost
Yeah,
mask.
it's
Yeah.
fucking
It's in the
daytime.
middle
It's
of
like
the day.
2:30
You're
in the
At like a
afternoon.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
like in the peas aisle.
Is there a whole aisle dedicated just for peas
Yeah,
at your
there are
grocery
lots
store?
of varieties.
So basically, what they're talking about in this scene
Frozen?
is
Steamers.
Podless.
Podless peas.
Yeah.
they're buying
They've been
food.
depotted.
So they're buying food for the party at the store. They're talking about like Nev Campbell's basically like, should I have sex with him? Like he's just waited forever. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
my
she's
mom's
There,
murder
she
kind of
does
got
not
in the
talk
way of
like
this.
an idiot. Not my Nev Campbell.
Hashtag not my Nev.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because I'm the
This
best.
is how all
She is my
teenage
favorite
girls
final
talk in
girl.
my head.
She's your
That's
favorite
how-
final
Nev
girl?
is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she probably has
Absolutely.
the most. Well, I don't want to spoil.
I don't-
the talk.
Agency.
Well, she survives the most out of all
Yeah,
of them,
she does.
probably.
I don't hate her. I just am surprised. I don't know
she's
all
my
of them.
favorite
I'm just
final
surprised.
girl.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Because she's a new kind of final
I'm
girl,
certainly
which
not
we'll talk
questioning
about.
you because I don't fucking know at all. But
Yeah.
that's interesting that you said that. Okay, so they're at the store. This is when they like close the frozen food section
And you
after,
see Ghostface,
and you see
yeah.
Ghostface there. But
It's like, what did you think you were going to do?
Yeah.
Like the only purpose of that is to have them see you so that you could run behind
Right.
something.
Just to remind us that Ghostface still exists.
And you wouldn't make it out of that convenience store.
Yeah. So she's starting to think, maybe I should have sex with Billy. Maybe that will solve all my problems.
So that's
I
pretty
don't
much all that
understand.
happens in this scene. And then we cut to
Oh, and then the video
Blockbuster
store.
Video,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
my favorite
and
scene
this is
of this
where both
movie.
the killers tag team Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah,
in
but
the
we don't
middle
know
of
they're
the
the killers
store.
yet.
We
Yeah.
don't.
Jamie
But-
Kennedy's like working a shift, and he's talking about
From a
like,
video store he got fired from twice?
Yeah, and there was also like
Charmed
a
his way
weird.
back in.
There was also a weird thing going on where Skeet Ulrich is just hanging out, hitting on these girls,
Yeah,
which
there's
was
a lot
random.
of people in this video store.
Oh,
too.
I mean,
it
he's-
is popular because
Well,
they're
school's out now.
out for summer.
Yeah,
School's
right.
out and
forever.
guys, it's like 96.
That's true.
Netflix had not
What
destroyed
else are you gonna
Blockbuster.
do?
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to go to video stores when I was in like elementary school and middle school. Yeah.
You guys, Jamie Kennedy's starting to sort of go over the rules a little bit, which he carries on into another scene. But
he's talking about red herrings and like the cops never pick up, and if they just
and how
watch
the dad's
prom
the red
night.
herring.
like everybody's a suspect. There are a couple of Jamie Lee Curtis posters in this scene, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But he's basically trying to convince Matthew Lillard, like, dude, look at Skeeter Ulrich over there. Look at him. He's a fucking date rapist.
Yeah.
He is.
And
the
he
killer.
does look like one. Yeah.
He's clearly the killer.
He's always wearing a kind of like a white T-shirt in every scene.
I think
in
he's
this
supposed
movie,
to look
isn't he?
poor.
Cigarettes rolled up in this.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to look poor, and he definitely is greasy AF.
Yeah, because
So,
they go to
he's a
public
greaser.
school,
because
and
his
yet
mom's left too, so nobody washes
Yeah.
any shirt. He just has to keep buying the 5-packs.
well, there's some big ass houses in this movie.
The Walmart white shirt 5-packs. Yeah.
There are some big houses, but we don't ever see
Drew
Billy's
Barrymore's house, Matthew Lillard's house. Good
Matthew
Lord.
Lillard's mansion.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they say sleepy little farmhouse at the very end. I was like, that's
Yeah.
retarded.
Did he
That's
say his parents were out of
not
town or
retarded. Sorry.
something?
That's insane. That's a big ass house.
Was
You
his
can't
par-
say insane?
Were his parents out of town, or did he kill his parents?
I think his parents just don't exist. In the
No, his
movie. I
parents
don't know.
do exist because
how
one of my
else did he get
favorite
that
lines
house?
is,
Oh, yeah,
my mom and dad would be so mad.
When she improv'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
anyway,
I know-
he's trying to convince him that it's Skeet Ulrich, and then he's like, "Fuck this, it's Billy."
Yeah.
And then at the same time, he's like, "Do you think this is kind
Do
of
you
the first
think Sydney
scene
will
where he's
go
like,
out with me?
yeah, so
Dude,
he's got a
Matthew
crush on
Lillard
Sid."
plays this
Oh, yeah.
so well, and that's one of the reasons I think he's great in this movie. Like he is
He's very touchy
funny.
feely in every scene.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
he's like
know.
all over Jamie Kennedy. He's like up against him from behind. And like at one point, Top was like, "Are they fucking?"
No, that was
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
That was with Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah, with
and-
Skeet Ulrich, and like
Yeah.
they both kind of get in his face. So you go back and watch the scene again when you know they're the killers, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
"This
yeah.
is so. This scene is so well done."
Yeah.
It is the whole thing. Yeah. And there's a part where Tatum is telling Sydney about the party, and he's right behind her, and he just starts like sucking on her neck.
He's great though. I really
Yeah, he
like him. in this
really
movie.
is. His
so after
performance
this,
is really good.
after the Hollywood video scene or whatever, they go to mansion.
They go to the
right?
party.
They go to his
Yeah, we're
mansion,
here.
Yeah.
Which is to note, I think to this day, the longest movie scene technically in history. It was one scene. What did you say it was? Scene
Scene
118.
Scene 118, yeah. And it was shot, I think it took like 21 days to shoot. And they could
Damn.
only shoot at nighttime, so they would just shoot from sundown to sunup. And then at the end,
Damn.
the cast and crew all got shirts that said, "I survived scene 118."
Imagine
Yep.
for a month having to be nocturnal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, and half the time they're
I've
wearing
done it.
like
Love
fake
it.
blood all over the place,
Jesus.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's like what, like 45 minutes of runtime?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
long.
like so many different storylines in this one scene. Yeah, it's really impressive.
Well, they
It
wrap
doesn't
everything
feel
up.
like that at all. There's so much
No,
stuff
it
going on.
doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a one location scene, but it feels like a multi.
I know how Clint feels about one location
yeah,
movies.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Like Child's Play
Yeah.
or Tremors.
I dig it. The Exorcist.
He's having a seizure over here. Yeah, so this, but it starts with them just arriving at the party, right?
Yes, and this is something that I think will be carried on to as the big party at the end. Or maybe
Well, I
I
do
just
feel like a
remember
lot
it so
of
much.
movies spoof this. Like Urban Legend does this.
Oh yeah, they're having a big
They're having a
party.
big
at the
party
end.
because
Freddy
everybody's
versus
getting
Jason sorta
murdered.
does this
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
field.
Same thing.
So yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of movies that came after this that sort of spoof it.
Oh, okay. So I was also reading that the principal's death was not in the original script.
Oh,
But
yeah?
The studio was like, "You haven't had a death in 30 pages, so you got to do something." So they killed the principal, but it ended up fixing a plot hole because at the end of this movie, most of the people at the party have left, and they didn't have a reason for them all to be gone.
Well,
so they
that
just
was
start killing
also
the main people.
really unrealistic. Like they're all they're like, "Oh, hey, the principal was strung up on the goalpost." They're like, "Let's go take him down."
Right.
No, let's go see him before they take him down.
Well,
And
they're
then
like,
like everyone
oh.
leaves. Let's go see them before they
Yeah.
take him down.
Oh.
And they all leave.
We're leaving first.
Okay.
Some people were leaving earlier. Than
Well, there's
that.
a lot of drunk driving in this
That's
scene. Like
true.
so many drunk people.
Oh
leaving.
yeah, and then when the cop shows up at the beginning, just to keep an eye on them, and Courtney Cox with K News or whatever.
Yeah, they almost run them
show up.
over
But
on
they-
the way out.
Right, but they come in when Dewey Dipshit comes in as a cop. He's like, "Are you 21 or whatever?" He's like, "Nah,
Just
don't worry about it.
kidding.
Yeah.
Just don't drive." And then that kid
Just
drives
don't
away
embarrass
later.
me in front of my date.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm on
My
while I'm
date.
on. Yeah.
Ugh.
To a
And
high
Courtney-
school party.
Right, and Courtney
where there will
Cox
be
plants
murder.
that wireless camera that has a 30-second delay to the truck.
Yeah.
So you didn't suspect any of these people were the killers, or did you just not give a shit?
I don't. We've talked about this before.
Yes,
When
you
I
don't
see
ever
like
try.
the Who Done It movies, I don't give a fuck. There was a moment where I was like, "Oh shit, it's two killers," and I knew it wasn't Jamie Kennedy. So I knew
Right
it was
before the reveal.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
like,
But at one point you said, "Well, because we asked who do you think it is, and you said, well, I know it's not Matthew Lillard."
because he's got to die.
Yeah.
and he does die.
He does.
But
and then like 5 minutes later,
When
you're
does he
like, "But
die?
Matthew Lillard is the goofiest one, so of course he's the killer that falls all the time." when the TV falls on his head.
Oh, like his actual death.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that before it actually happened. Anyway.
Well, no, I was saying, I don't know.
Why did you not think it was Matthew Lillard?
Because I thought he died. Because right after Jamie Kennedy said all the rules, and one of them was "I'll be right back," Jamie Kennedy immediately
So you
says,
thought they were following
"I'll
that
be
rule.
right back." Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, okay, he's gonna be the next one to die. He wasn't, but he does die. So they still sort of follow the rules, which I like. But
they subvert the rules too.
yeah, but I mean,
They
honestly,
rewrote the rules for many years to come.
the second Jamie Kennedy
the
and
new-
Matthew Lillard ran up
new
the
format.
front walk while she walks in the door and closes it on them, I knew Matthew Lillard was the killer. Jamie
you?
Kennedy wasn't. And when I saw Skeet Ulrich at the top of the stairs, I knew he was the other one. But I wasn't trying to figure it out. I
Right.
don't care. Like whenever these movies are and I'll go
always
see
try to
movies
figure
like
it
this occasionally, but I never care. Like I never try and figure it out because the movie's going to do its fucking job and show it to me.
But don't you want to prove that you're smarter than the movie?
No, I'm smart enough to know that I don't have to fucking get
Prove that.
validation from a movie.
No.
So like I just don't
How
give
do
a
you
shit.
know what you're worth?
well, as the sequels,
I just know what I'm fucking worth.
But this is
Did you
the
watch Murder on the Orient Express?
Yes.
Express?
I
Did you
loved
figure it
it.
out?
Yeah, when
is it? It's
Jacques
all of them,
Cousteau
right?
told me
Oh.
what it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It is
Spoiler
all
alert.
of them.
That's
Fuck,
right.
the movie came out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I watched it the day after I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me. But yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
3 years
movies
ago.
like
It was
that.
last November.
That was like last
For your
November.
pain.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that.
So they're at the party. Oh, and this is the part with Tatum in the garage.
Oh, yeah, that's your
'Cause
favorite
Gail
part,
has
Todd.
already set up the camera.
because Matthew Lillard's like, go get me a beer, bitch, or what? He doesn't say that. He's actually pretty nice to her. Like they're not like a
until
bad
he
couple.
murders her.
Well, sure. Do you think he murders her?
I
or do you
think
I think it was
Billy.
Billy
Yeah, me
because
too.
he was still back inside entertaining
Me
people.
too. Anyway, so Matthew Lillard's like, "Hey, get me a beer," and she's like, "What am I, the beer wench?" But she does because
does.
she's a good submissive girlfriend, like you should
Or
be.
because they have a joking relationship about that.
Oh no, I mean I do think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly think their relationship is not horrible.
Yeah,
other than
it
that
sounds
her-
like they're okay.
Other than he's a psychopath.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she goes
She
into the
doesn't know
garage
that,
to
though.
get a beer out of the garage fridge, which is a thing.
Yeah, it's a fridge.
People
in a
have garage fridges.
Yeah, we used to
Sure.
have one.
Yeah, I have one.
Every
at my
4th
place.
of July when I go to my aunt's house, yeah, we always
That's where you
have it
put
in
your
the
rocket
garage.
pops.
Yeah.
Oh
there.
my god. Anyway, so yeah, she goes in the garage, gets the beers out of the fridge. The garage door closes. The door into the garage from the house. The garage door, like with the sliding garage door,
The
is
door,
closed too.
if you will.
And then she goes. The door's locked. She can't get out.
Yeah, she
So she
thinks they're
goes to
playing a
open the
trick.
garage door and starts to walk towards it to like go out the garage
Yeah,
door.
and then it starts
starts to
closing.
close. Turns around. Ghostface Kill is
Ghostface.
there. Yeah.
And that's when she says, "I spit on your garage," and that was the first time I'd ever heard of that movie. Too.
I never got that joke until tonight.
I spit on
really?
your
I don't
garage.
think
Wait,
so.
when did I spit on your grave come out?
70s.
The original, yeah,
No
then they remade
shit.
it.
Okay,
Oh.
so I thought it was like a recent movie.
Oh,
Well, they
no.
remade
My
it
bad.
in
Okay.
like
They
a
have
few
remade
years
it a
ago.
couple
Okay.
of times.
Yeah.
This movie introduced me to a lot of horror things that I
Sure.
wasn't aware of.
That's fair.
So then she tries to crawl through the doggy door and gets got, man.
And gets got.
Yo,
Do you really think the garage door would have?
No.
I feel like the
No.
second her head would have touched the top, it
The
would have just
sensor
stopped.
wouldn't let it
Right.
close that
Honestly,
much.
if you've
It doesn't
ever
have the power to do that.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
know this about my garage door when I was a kid because I tried this. Not,
tried
Did you
to
not
try to
this.
get killed by
well,
the
no,
doggy
but
door?
I had no.
That sounds like something Clint
Are
would
you
do.
sure?
Yeah, so like I was
You sure
trying
you
to.
didn't dress up like Rose McGowan?
Well, yeah. I hit the button and tried to grab onto the bottom of it and have it lift me up. I was like 11 or 12. I was really young. Actually, I
And
was
you were
probably
really
like
fucked up
8
as
or
a
9.
kid. I understand.
No, I was just trying
Yeah.
to like hold on to it and see how long I'd hold on to it and like ride it up to the when it like whatever. But when
And you
I
didn't get far.
no, when my
Yeah.
weight transferred to it because my feet were no longer touching the ground, it stopped and went down.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't even lift my weight. Now it's probably like 80 pounds because I was like 8.
Maybe
so
they
yeah.
have a really high-powered one.
But I mean, this movie doesn't need
Or
it
maybe
to.
it's just a horror movie.
Yeah, this movie doesn't
It's still
need
a
for it
cool
to make
death.
sense.
Oh, it
I
is
like
cool
it.
death.
I mean, it
This
wasn't-
is- I
the
feel like
deaths
this is
are
a famous,
actually
iconic
kind
one.
of weak. For as famous a movie this is, most of the deaths are pretty weak.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the deaths along the way are kind of weak. I don't know. I don't think they are.
I mean, it gets a little bit more
I
graphic
also,
toward the end,
I don't
which we're
care
getting there.
about
But
gore.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh.
want like a super bloody. Like I don't
it's
care.
super bloody.
I'd rather have a better
toward the
story.
end, which I love.
Yes, it does, and that was a part of the reason they had such a big problem with the NPAA.
NPAA. Yeah. So anyway, so she gets killed by the doggy door. It sounds
Yeah.
more like she gets her neck stuck in it, and that's what kills her. I thought it
Yeah.
like cut her in half or whatever, but it was
No.
mainly just her
Yeah.
neck getting broken or whatever.
Yeah.
And you sort of see her head get squished.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And then Billy.
I didn't like that very much.
It was wonderful.
It's sad.
It's also cool when Nev Campbell finds her later.
Oh yeah.
It
When
takes
she
way too
falls out of the
much
window
time.
onto the boat, yeah.
Yeah, from like the third story.
But I thought that was actually pretty real. I'm like, okay.
Have we talked about the rules? Oh, and
No.
this is the point
We're
when
coming
Billy
up to that
shows
part.
up to the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
And
just
wants to
always
talk to Nev.
shows up so super creepy, and she
Upstairs.
does want to talk. Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to do something.
This is when we realize that there's a 30-second delay
Yes.
from the camera to
Yes.
the van. And then so Sydney and Billy are upstairs.
Yeah, and this is, I like the way they did this because
I did too.
Jamie Kennedy's talking about the rules and juxtaposed with them upstairs about to bone and then boning, right? And he sort of is talking about like, or is that when the rules happen? Because the reason I say this is because they're talking about the
Right
showing the
before
tits.
the rules happen.
Right.
Yes, because they start making out. She's talking about what kind of movie she wants to be in. She wants to be in a Meg Ryan movie.
Or a porno.
He's being really supportive. Like for someone who's about to murder her, he's being like really nice and like understanding. I don't think he's really pressuring her. And she is the one who brings up having sex. She says, or maybe just a really good porno. And he's like, what did you say? And then
I was going to kill you, but now I'm going to fuck you and kill you.
But now, give me 20 minutes and then we'll see what happens.
20 minutes?
Foreplay.
It happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
They're in high school.
Yeah, but they still all have they have all their clothes on at this point.
Yeah,
too.
that disappointed
I'm pretty
Todd.
sure the second she said or a pretty good porno, he nutted in his pants.
gotta work back up.
You heard was him orgasming
By the
immediately.
way, they're intercutting it with the scene they're watching in Halloween, which is the nude scene with, is it PJ Souls? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, PJ Souls.
PJ
because
Souls is
she
getting
the one who
naked.
Annie gets. But yeah, PJ Souls is the one
That's
that we
next
see.
week.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, this is important because she is the one who makes the choice to have sex, and what makes her a different kind of final girl is that she is taking charge of her own story in the movie, whereas the other final girls like Jamie Lee Curtis, she just kind of goes along with whatever the killer is doing and runs away from the killer and then lets him control the story.
Right.
And so the fact that she gives consent to have sex and then is still able to survive shows that it's a new kind of final girl.
Yeah.
And that's why she's my favorite final girl.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I could read from this awesome book.
We shouldn't.
But but there is a book by Alexandra West, who is one of the co-hosts of Faculty of Horror, and it's called Final Girls in a New Hollywood Formula, and it's all about these 90s teen horror movies, and Scream they have a whole chapter about Scream. It's great.
I normally make fun of you. I would actually like to read this book.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
I'm looking at the cover
it looks
and I'm
pretty
getting
short,
excited.
honestly.
It is. It's short and it's really good. I've cried happy empowerment tears while reading this. Like I posted it on Instagram too. So if you're following me, you can get more details.
I mean, any
there.
book that has the urban legend on the cover, I'm gonna read it.
It's really good. She's got a lot more to say about that, and how like the strongest people in this movie are the women. They're Gail and Sydney, and they're the ones who actually saved the day.
Who's
you
Gail?
know? Courtney Cox.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that kind of continues into
It
the
does.
sequels too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So they have sex, and they show him like dry humping a little bit later, which is kind of weird. But so
They show him dry humping before the sex.
Yes,
You
'cause
don't dry
that's how
hump
it
after the.
works.
Yeah, but the way you
I
said
mean,
it was.
you could.
after they talk about doing it, you could, but why would you? You got to wait like at least an hour.
If you've just wet humped,
That shows our age.
you don't go
have
back
to wait
dry
an
hump.
hour.
An hour.
I mean, an hour and a sandwich is usually my rule.
And it's really clever how they're doing it. They're intercutting this with the
rules talk, right?
the rules talk,
I
and
like
then
that.
watching Halloween, they're talking about wanting to see her tits, and then
This
they
is
show.
like Jamie Kennedy's finest hour.
This really is, and this is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie too. The rules, and it's like that scene in what's the John Goodman scene? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules? Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that part. That's really the only part.
Marking
of
a
that movie I
foul,
like.
Donnie.
Yeah, market zero. So he's talking about the rules, and this is one of the iconic parts of this movie too. And what are they? You can't have sex, and you can't drink and
You
do
can't drink
drugs.
alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't say "I'll be right
I'll
back."
be right back. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. And honestly, I don't have a favorite part of this movie that doesn't include Matthew Lillard. But when he immediately gets him and says, "I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back."
Every time I
Yeah.
say I'll be right back, any time in my life, I always say I'll be right back.
And nobody gets you.
Gets it.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuckers.
I mean, every once in a while they do.
You know what your joke?
Well, he does it
your
twice in
jokes
the movie
need?
too.
What?
Context. They always need context.
Let me explain why having a penis makes this joke funnier.
So Jamie Kennedy tells
He tells him the rules.
He tells them the rules.
Yeah.
And then so they have sex upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, skeet all over Nev.
And it really, I mean, pretty quickly cuts back to Jamie Kennedy telling them about the principal, because what happens after that is the killer shows up upstairs when they're done having sex
and quote unquote stabs
Skeet.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's like, Sydney, help
and it cuts
me.
back to them, and they're sitting on the bed, and they're so far apart, and it's like, this sex did not go.
And
very
she's
well.
like, I should have
he's
asked.
sitting on the floor.
I know.
Braiding
She
his
would've
hair. And she's like,
But his
I
hands keep
should have
slipping
asked you
off.
this before the fornication, but did you call me from jail?
Yeah.
Like, did you?
Are
Yeah.
you really a murderer? This is what I was thinking about while you were trying to finish.
Because she clearly didn't.
Damn.
I don't think. I mean, look at the look on her face while she's sitting on the bed. No,
Oh
she did
yeah,
not.
she had sex with him because she felt obligated to, not because she wanted to.
She
Ladies.
wanted to be in a porno. No, she gave consent. We just talked about it.
Oh yeah, but consent.
That's important, Todd.
She knew she wasn't going to get off.
Well,
on
I
it.
think about 20 seconds in, she was like, "This isn't for me." This
This
guy.
penis
Sex
feels
with-
like a murderer penis.
Sex with Skeet Ulrich can't possibly
His
be
hair
any good.
kept touching her face, and she was just not into it.
It's like hitting her in the face. And
I'm
she's
sure
like,
his dick size is the equivalent
dripping on her.
of how big his career is, which isn't very big.
But this is when they start to set up that Billy might be the killer.
Yes.
And then, but immediately, Stu comes in as Ghostface and kills him. And I was wondering if you would notice this. Like, you don't ever see him actually get stabbed because
his back is to them, and he gets stabbed in the front.
Yeah, and then he
Right.
squirts ketchup all over himself.
Corn syrup,
but
yeah.
It might as well be ketchup.
Sure.
I mean, this could have been one of the times he actually stabbed Skeet Ulrich, because they have to stab each other at
They
some
do.
point.
Yeah, but
for the
then
cops
maybe
later.
he wouldn't have been able-bodied enough to.
That's true.
Kill.
To fall down the steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Kills Billy. She's sad. She's running around. Oh, and this is another one of my favorite parts where Jamie Kennedy's on the couch, like screaming at Jamie Lee Curtis to turn around, and the killer's right behind him, you know?
Yeah.
And then you see in the van them seeing this on the 30-second delay, and they're screaming at Jamie Kennedy to turn around, turn around, turn around.
Yeah, this is sort of after
I
I,
like
think
this.
Nev Campbell
I do too.
jumps out the window.
Yeah, we sort of already
and-
talked about that because she falls out of the window and jumps on the, or
And
lands
she
on the boat. And
sees
the
Rose
wall.
McGowan and kind of
yeah.
freaks out. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she goes off running for help, and then
She goes over running to the van. This is where she
Oh,
meets
that's
Kenny
right,
Powers
that's right.
at the
She's
van.
with him when
and
that
they
happens,
see the
I
delay,
forgot.
and
Yeah.
she's
And
like,
they're
turn around,
yelling
turn around,
at
turn
Randy,
around.
yeah.
But the 30-second delay allows the killer time to come out of the house and then slice the throat of
Did
Kenny
anybody
Powers.
think that
Yeah.
Kenny Powers wasn't going to get killed in this movie?
Oh, no, there was
Holy
no way he
shit.
was- yeah, he
no
was
way.
definitely
Mumbling one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that one of the edits they insisted that they make was the end of his death because
The
his
guts were
look.
flowing.
Yeah, well, and blood, and apparently his look of pain and horror was too upsetting.
Oh God.
So that was part
that
of
actor
the edit.
crushed it.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other things. It's not Kenny. It's not
Really?
who replaced Kenny Powers. Yeah, I've seen him in other things. He's not a very big actor
He's
at
like
all.
one of those, hey, it's that guy guys.
Yeah. But he's decent. He's not a bad
he got
actor.
Some work after Scream.
Yeah.
I believed that he really got his throat slit.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
jokes in Scream 2 because she gets a new cameraman. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what happened to the last cameraman? She's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, Nev gets away through the. There's like a hole in
she
the truck
kinda
that she climbs
crawls
through.
through
and
this
it goes-
hole
The
in the-
doggy
in the
door in the
truck,
back of
yeah.
the van.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she goes to the station wagon. Tries to lock all
I
the
thought
doors.
it was a Jeep.
It's a station wagon.
Thought it was a Jeep.
It's a station wagon.
I thought it was
Does
a Jeep.
it matter?
It's a station wagon.
It's a
Does
Jeep.
Stuck in a time
it
loop.
matter?
No,
Let's
because
do the
station-
time loop again. It's a Jeep.
Gotta
I
get
like
that
this.
though.
Okay, so she locks
do.
the doors, goes to turn the ignition. It's the fucking sheriff Jeep.
So we know the cop is now the killer, right?
No, but he does have the keys, right? So
Yeah.
it might
and
be.
that part always creeps me out too when he holds the keys up.
I
to
thought
the
it was
window.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she locked the doors, goes to start the ignition, and he's like, "I got the keys."
And then
Yeah.
he ducks down just
Because-
to fuck with
Oh,
her.
I love that.
That's cool.
Shoo. And then goes and unlocks the doors, and then eventually climbs in the back as she's trying to call the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
And then she gets out
It should
amazingly.
be
this
fucking
is what-
bulletproof. Just stay in the goddamn car.
For real.
Well,
Well,
no,
this-
he's got the
Oh,
keys.
that's
got
right.
the
So
keys.
he
He
found
climbs in
out
the back.
a way
This
to
is how we
open
know
the
it's a
back.
station wagon because the back opens up like a station wagon.
I'm sorry.
slowly.
Have you never seen a
And-
Jeep?
No, I had a station wagon growing up. I don't know.
Somebody tweet at us.
Jeep versus
Jeep.
station wagon.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
call.
because the tweet will save the day.
We're gonna
Jeep.
call this Jeep Gate because I know I'm right.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Go for it.
All right.
Or is it more like a Bronco?
What is
So
happening?
anyway, she gets out of this mystery vehicle, and then
That shall not be named.
right. And then goes.
Doesn't she run towards the door?
Yeah.
And the killer runs off to the side.
And that's when we see Randy and Stu come back, and I love this part when we see Randy. She's about to let Randy in, I think, and then Stu comes out of nowhere and they're both trying to convince each other that they're the killer. She's like, "Fuck you both," and closes the door.
Yeah,
that was a great.
Which
scene.
is what you do in that situation.
Yep.
And there's a callback to that in Scream 4, which I love.
Yep.
Yeah, so she says, "Fuck you both," and then she hears screaming. And then somehow Ghostface gets back in too, right?
Well,
no, Billy falls down the steps.
Yeah, I was about to say he was there the whole time.
Billy
So
yeah, he's been dead for 10 years. Billy falls down the steps and convinces her to give him the gun. And then Randy's gotten and lets
Randy's still banging on the door, and he lets
Yeah.
Randy in. And
Lets
then
Randy in.
this is the big reveal.
And then he says, "We all go a little mad sometimes," and then shoots Randy.
Cheesy.
Yeah.
I know.
Fucking cheesy. And then shoots Randy in the arm.
In
Sort of the shoulder, yeah.
It's like a fucking cannon. He like blasts through a part of the wall or something. So he's knocked out.
Yeah,
sort of.
And we think he's dead too. And so that's when the killers are revealed.
They're really, really bad at that, by the way. Like, this happens 3 or 4 times. They're really bad at going to check to make sure the person is dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're idiots. And that's one thing I love about the end scene is it's just revealed about how stupid they are, as they're like stabbing each other,
I mean, they're still two high school kids.
Exactly. And I love that they don't try to make it like some super evil mastermind of this whole thing. Like, they're just a bunch of idiots who tried to kill a bunch of people and tried to pass it off.
Well, they do have a motive, though. The motive is that the whore mom was their words, not mine. That
I think
they did say whore and slut a lot.
Yeah. They did.
So Neve
Even the
Campbell's
females
mom
in this
was
movie.
sleeping with Skeet Ulrich's dad, and
a
that
bunch of
caused
other
the
people,
divorce, right?
Yeah.
But it looked like, and I forgot this because I haven't seen it in a while, but it looked like Matthew Lillard was finding that out for the first time.
Yes.
When Skeet Ulrich was...
Because I don't think Matthew Lillard cared. And so, so in the original...
Matthew Lillard's just crazy.
Yeah, he's just like, I just want to start some fun shit, and like, I like horror movies, so, Okay, so originally he was going to have no motive. And the studio couldn't, because there's a line where he says it's scarier when there's no motive. And then he immediately gives his motive. So Kevin Williamson, I think, or the studio, they couldn't decide what to do. Should it be no motive at all, or should it be this motive about Billy's mom? So they ended up going with both because they said there's 2 killers, so there might as well be 2 motives. So you could look at the no motive as Stu's motive and the mom motive as Billy's motive.
What are the chances of 2 psychopaths going to the same high school?
I think there are probably a lot of psychopaths in a lot of high schools.
Yep.
And I don't think
and the dad is there in the closet. They pull him out. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not the same, like not a good motive, because we were saying like they've got the dad tied up with duct tape, and that duct tape is going to leave residue.
Deputy dipshit's not going to fucking figure that out, though. They would have been fine.
And I mean, and they
the chief might actually be the killer, so he's not going to care.
So when Matthew Lillard goes to the closet and pulls the dad out, he lays the gun down, kind of on a desk behind him, and so. They talk about their plan. They talk about how they're going to frame him, and then they turn around and Courtney Cox got a hold of the gun. But before that, I think before that is when they start stabbing each other, which is a pretty fucking entertaining scene.
Yeah. Yes, I'm telling you, man.
Like, you kept me too deep, I'm woozy.
Blood-soaked goofballs.
I always remember that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that part.
I mean, this is where Matthew Lillard starts to really shine for me.
Yeah.
With the
he knows
scene
exactly
with the phone.
what scene he's in and what character he's playing.
Yeah.
He is playing
And he
a
starts.
lovable idiot.
He starts
I
cutting
completely
Skeet.
agree with you. Yeah.
They're both complaining about, like, he cuts Skeet. He's like, God damn it,
stabbed
Stu.
me. Yeah.
But yeah, so Courtney Cox gets the gun, tries to shoot them. The safety's on.
Yeah.
So he hits her with a shovel. Like, what is he? How does he just punch her or something?
What does he hit?
Because she falls onto
She falls
Deputy
back-
Dipshit.
Yeah, and she like breaks one of the posts in the doorway. I can't
Oh,
remember.
I thought
Maybe
he just punched her in the face.
I think he punches her and knocks her out or whatever. Anyway, it works a lot better with the safety off, you stupid whatever. So they go back in. That's when they realize that Nev and the dad are gone. Phone rings. They
They're like,
answer it.
Oh yeah, I forgot to watch the other person we're gonna kill.
Yeah, they're
Closet or
real
something.
dumb.
Okay, so then Sydney calls and she's like, "We're gonna play a game. Guess who just called the cops?"
Yeah.
Which I love. She's smart. She called the cops.
Dude, when he throws the phone at because he always answers, and he's like, "Yo, you dumb bitch, I'm gonna kill you," or whatever. And he throws the phone at Lillard, and it hits him in the head. He's like, "You hit me with the phone, dick," or whatever.
Oh God,
so funny. And then he like gets on the phone. Hello.
He supposedly
So funny.
improv'd
really
a lot
call
of
the
that,
cops?
and then
So
my
funny.
mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Anyway, so
Also, his finest hour.
oh
Matthew
yeah,
Lillard.
I understand why he was in every movie after this one because he was so
He
good.
also
in it.
came back in 13 Ghosts. Did
Yeah,
a
he
little
was
bit
in
more
13
horror.
Ghosts, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a decent flick.
That is interesting.
We'll
We
watch
can put
that
it on the
later.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so then Sydney busts out of the closet with a ghost face mask and
Right.
stabs him with an umbrella.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Okay, so apparently it was a stunt woman, and he was wearing a protective vest, and he gets stabbed twice. And the first time it gets the vest, and the second time it actually misses the vest.
Oh,
And
damn.
it gets into like it impacted a wound that he had already had from open heart surgery.
Oh,
so when he's like
Jesus.
flailing on the floor, he's really hurt.
Which one is?
Oh my God! Wow, yeah.
The second umbrella stab.
No, but which guy was it? Was it
Skeet.
Matthew Lillard or Skeet?
Oh,
okay,
Skeet,
well,
Skeet, Skeet.
he
It
already
was
had
Skeet.
open heart surgery.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Then we realize that Stu is still alive, and he is chasing her around, and then she dumps the TV. Oh no, like
He's pretty fucked up at that point.
He
so
is,
he can't
but
move
he's
very
still
well.
on top of her and
Yeah.
like strangling her, and she
He's like, "You
smashes him with a
fucking bitch."
vase.
Kills him with Philo Farnsworth.
Yeah, you couldn't. You could only kill
invention.
somebody with a '90s TV. You couldn't kill them with the TVs we had.
It's got to
now.
have a cathode ray tube.
A flux capacitor.
No, that would have been Doc Brown's greatest invention, not Philo Farnsworth.
So yeah, what was the deal? So like, in that
Are you
draft
talking
of.
about a TV?
Yeah. Philo
So how was he
Farnsworth
supposed to?
invented the TV.
How was he supposed to have
Jesus
survived in
Christ.
Scream 3? Like he.
I don't know. I
fucking-
guess the
he didn't
TV like
die.
he was faking.
It fried him, but it didn't.
A
kill him.
TV falling on you would not fry your face.
Yeah,
so like,
you-
they
we
could
were
have
talking
gotten
about
away
that
with it.
earlier.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Lost Boys' death when the stereo conducted all the vampire electricity and he got killed by rock and
through
roll.
the wooden arrow.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest death
But he
in the
got
whole
killed
movie.
by TV, and I think that's the metaphor too. Is that
Yeah, whatever.
he loves movies.
Yeah,
movies.
sure. I mean, I get that.
Met his end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, although I think it's a pretty heavy TV, so if it fell on your head, it'd probably
It
crush
could
your
have.
head.
Yeah, it totally could have.
It
You
would
could
at
have
least
died-
knock
You
you
could
the
have
fuck
died
out, yeah.
from
You're
a
not
head
gonna look
injury
the
for
same.
sure.
No,
Yeah.
you will not be. I wouldn't say Matthew Lillard's an overly handsome man, but
He's got a lot of charisma.
he has got a lot of BDE and is just swinging it around.
Yeah, that's basically his character in this movie.
Yeah.
And then Billy shows up again, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I tweeted out and on Instagram, like, what are your favorite moments from this movie? And Chris James GTR said, my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. That's my favorite part. Easily one of Lillard's best role, aside from the serial killer and Hackers.
Oh,
which
that's
I do love
right.
Matthew Lillard in Hackers. Lana Del Beer, do you know Lana Del Beer?
She's on Music City Horror.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I met her then.
Yeah.
She's great. Her favorite part is the I'll be right back moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
Matthew. He is very memorable.
Yes, he is. So Matthew Lillard is the only memorable part. Well, not only, but
So Skeet comes clamoring out the door to try to
well,
get
yeah,
her
because
too.
he's only been poked twice with an umbrella. You don't
right.
die from umbrella poking.
I mean, you can.
Oh, you want to hear something really funny?
Oh.
This 1000% happened last week when it was raining outside. I met a friend for coffee, and
I'm
I
nervous
was.
about where the story's going.
Oh, it's amazing.
Prefaced by umbrella poking.
I
Oh
was.
my god! And
I
seeing
was-
how excited Todd
Oh, I
is.
was so excited.
Hey, guys,
so
guys.
I was looking out the window of the coffee shop, and this guy was walking to his car, and he was trying to get his umbrella to come up, and was hitting the button for it. But it wouldn't come up, so he
So
like
he
turns
just got
it.
wet?
He turns it.
And it
He
hits him in
turns
the
it
face.
towards him, and he hits the button, and it hits him right in the lip, and then expands in his fucking face. It was amazing.
Oh,
Oh my
I feel
god!
like I was there.
He
It
could
was
have died.
the best. Anyway,
That was the most excited I've seen you all night.
one more poke, and it would have killed him.
Oh yeah, so umbrellas can call.
And then
kill.
Courtney Cox came in and shot him in the chest.
It was crazy. It all happened so fast. Ooh.
Oh,
yeah, so
man.
Courtney shoots him. He says, I remember the safety that time, bastard. Yeah, so she saves the day just as much.
And then she gives him the gun to Nev Campbell, and then
This is my favorort part of the
Jamie.
movie.
This is real campy and stupid. Jamie Kennedy comes up and says, "Oh, this is the
careful.
last time the murderer does a scare," and then Skeet Ulrich goes "Blah!" and reaches up like he's a zombie now, and then he gets shot in the brain, which is real.
Yeah,
dumb.
like right between the eyes, and she actually shoots him. And she says, not in my movie. And I love that. I say that to myself sometimes when I'm wanting to like take charge of my life. Like, not in my movie.
All right.
Sydney, I love you. But yeah, and one thing I also like about this too is that like the killer actually dies. Like I remember when Rob Zombie was remaking Halloween, and I know people have issues with that, but he would talk about how the killer never actually dies at the end of the movie because they always have to set it up for the sequel. And I love that they actually shot the killer, and the killer, there's no way the killer could survive that.
And then it sort of turns into a tradition of Scream movies because they always die.
Right. And so that's what makes her a new final girl too, is because
she's killed a lot of people at
she's the survivor of the movie, not the
Right.
killer. We're not going to be behind the killer in the next movie and the next movie and the next movie, because what had happened in the 80s was the final girl was the first one to die in the next movie. And so Sydney is now the one who is the survivor in this movie, and she's the one who's taken charge, and she has ended the cycle of this killer. Now, there are sequels, and I think they're well done.
But aren't they just
Well,
like,
and
I've not
but they
seen
also
them- it's not the same killer though. Like it's a copycat or whatever.
It's not the same
or-
killer, but it's the same costume and the same concept and the same voice machine that
Sure.
they use. So they sort of get away with.
They do,
both.
and I'm okay with it because
I'm sort of okay with it too because copycat killers are a real thing.
Oh yeah,
and they really
totally
do sort
are.
of pretend to be like the other killers adopt that persona. So
Sure.
when they call her in the sequels, they're like, "Do you remember me?"
Yeah.
You know, like, well, you weren't fucking there, but
But aside from whatever Scream 3 was supposed to be, like Billy and Stu do legitimately die in the series. They don't pop back up.
yes,
Spoilers. But
almost happened, but did not.
didn't.
Right.
And so and then this is the very last thing, and it also kind of solidifies the female narrative of this story, is that it ends on Gail telling the story of everything that happened, because she is now literally taking charge of the narrative of this story.
Yeah, I mean, she's the news anchor.
Yeah.
It's her job.
So another thing that makes this different too is that it's not just one final girl, and I call it, because I'm a Stephen King fan, I call it there's a quartet at the end too. Which a quartet is a Stephen King thing, like a group of people who are bonded together from things, because we see these same people that survive this coming back and coming back and coming back.
But it's also interesting that Courtney Cox is the only character in all of these movies. Nobody's after her. She goes to it.
Yeah, she's the one.
She's
who
like,
keeps
oh, there's murders
putting
again. I gotta
herself in the
show
middle.
up. Yeah. I gotta help.
Well, and I mean,
It is sort of her job,
up.
you know.
It is, yeah.
I mean, who's going to watch Top Story if
Exactly.
if not for good murders.
Right. Like, why do they say that so many times? I'm out.
Look at the jacket.
Right.
The answers are in the jacket. So that's the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie, yeah. And then an awesome soundtrack too. I was singing that "We Are" song.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as
They always kind of end these movies.
Cry, Little Sister.
They always end these movies with like an indie rock song, and occasionally the tone is off. Like I remember Scream 2 ends with like an upbeat rock song, and I'm like, this
That's
is
a sad
not
ending,
what.
yeah.
This.
So let's do box office. What are this? This has to have made money.
Yeah.
because everyone copied this.
show. Yeah.
So let me. Okay.
You want to guess the budget? How much
I
do you
do,
think
but
this
I'm going
cost
to
to
fuck
make?
it up.
Okay.
Everyone in this was pretty young, except for Drew Barrymore. They're pretty. I would say they made this for less than $25 million.
You're warm. You're warm.
Do you want to guess?
No, 25 million. I don't know.
Okay,
A
14
billion.
million.
I stopped listening.
Wow,
Yeah, it was made for 14
I was
million.
way
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Now this defined the horror sleeper hit
It really
back in the
did.
day. Like never went number one. Now
Really?
the sequels were huge. Well, 2 and 3
second
were.
one definitely was.
Yeah. But never went number one.
Wow.
The highest it got was so it opened at number 4, went down on the charts, went back up the charts. The highest it ever got was number 3. But
Wow.
many months later, it opened in December. In April of the next year, it's still in the top 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
So it was just there consistently forever.
Just word of mouth, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or
And
people going back to see it.
yeah, and I remember and they did this with Scream 2 also, but they did a little bit of a re-release. Like right before Scream 2 came out, they put Scream back in
case you missed
theaters
it.
for a couple weeks. But
So what did it make?
so domestic it made 103 million. Now
Wow,
it is
okay.
to note, I think I said this in a previous podcast, Scream and Scream 2 are the only slasher movies in history to cross 100 million.
Domestic?
Not
Scream and Scream 2?
domestic. Yeah.
Scream
Just
2 is
slasher genre, not the entire horror.
Sure.
70 million foreign, so total it made
a
173
shitload of
million.
money.
Yeah, off. And dude, this made a fuck ton on video.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I
DVD
bought
hadn't
it.
come out yet, but oh my God. Yeah. Scream 2 came out a year later. Like they really, really fast tracked Scream 2. And Scream 2 is
Yeah.
mostly like that really is kind of like a one location. Like it's all on this
On
college
the college,
campus.
yeah. Scream 2 is really well done for as quickly as they
Oh
did
my
it.
God.
too. And
I
that's-
like Scream. I like Scream 2 better than
Yeah.
Scream. That's just
don't. And that might be just because of like the connections we both have to it when we first watched each one of those.
Yeah.
Because I like Scream
agree.
2 almost as much as I like Scream, but the original, I just love it.
I haven't seen Scream 2.
Well, we'll watch it.
You will.
It's really good.
All right.
You want to know who was also considered for Sydney?
Yeah, let's do fun facts.
Aside from Drew Barrymore, who was originally supposed to play it, they talked to Alicia Witt, who was the redheaded block of wood from Urban Legend.
Oh, yeah.
They talked to Brittany Murphy and Reese Witherspoon.
Brittany Murphy, I cannot see it.
I
Alicia's,
can't either.
I can't see Alicia either.
I can't see anybody but Neve Campbell. I think she's perfect for this.
I think she did a great job.
Yeah. For Gail, they talked about Brooke Shields and Janine Garofalo.
Brooke,
Janine Garofalo.
She's not nearly as attractive as Courtney Cox, but I think she could have been good.
I think she could have too.
She's
playing
funny.
a convincing bitch.
Yeah, and she's a
I
pretty
love
good
her on
actress.
West Wing.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Todd, if you were a big enough movie nerd, like they have a bunch of Miramax books, and every time one of these Miramax movies comes up, whether it's horror or another genre, they want to cast the same people.
Yeah.
Like the same actors were in all the Miramax movies just over and over and over. Like David Schwimmer always comes up. You know, there's always, which they kind of joke about that in the second one.
Yes,
But
and they throw the names in too.
Tori Spelling.
Yeah.
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 I think they had a Tori Spelling reference in this.
Did they?
Did they?
I think they
can't
did.
remember.
I think Tatum says something
Yeah.
about Tori Spelling. Yeah. Well, and we said she plays in the movie.
With Luke
Heather
Wilson?
Graham too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Heather Graham
funny.
and Boogie Nights.
Heather Graham
I
plays
think you'll
Drew
like
Barrymore
Scream
in
too.
Damn,
Stab.
she could get
It's
it.
Stab. Yeah.
I actually have a Stab
I
poster.
don't even know you,
at
and
my
I
house.
dislike you already. They consider Breckin Meyer for Randy instead of.
Oh, that would have been
Jamie
interesting.
Kennedy. Yeah.
That would have been
I don't
interesting.
know. I mean, it's hard for me to see anybody else playing any of these.
I don't know who
roles.
Breckin Meyer is, but
He was
The
in
star of Road Trip.
They consider Ben Affleck for Billy.
Oh, good. And Ben Affleck was in a bunch of Miramax movies.
Yeah.
Including Phantoms. He was the bomb in that.
The black robe was originally supposed to be a white robe, but they thought it
Ooh.
looked too much like the KKK.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Good
that's
call
a
there.
good call.
Good
yeah.
call there.
All right, so let's do the scary scale.
Scary scale. Okay, hey, Jennifer, what is the scary scale? Well, let me tell you. The scary scale is how we rate how scary we find these movies. Can you hear all my pages, listeners? Going through, I'm trying to find my scary scale. Somebody may have to talk for just a minute while I find
Do
it.
you feel like we've been replaced? I feel like she just started talking.
I really
to
don't even think we need to explain
I know,
the scary
right?
scale
Guys,
anymore.
yeah.
I don't think we have to explain it. I think our listeners know by
How
this
scary
point.
we think this movie is, not
Yes,
quality
not
of
how
movie.
good it
1
is.
is a Ghostbusters, 2 is a Texas Chainsaw.
10
is a Texas Chainsaw
Big
Massacre.
jump from 1 to 2. 10 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Todd, what do you think?
3.
3.
Yeah, it wasn't really that scary. It was
You
funny. I
handled
enjoyed
this
it.
better than I thought.
Yeah.
But I also
I was
kind of thought
surprised.
there
I was
really
pleasantly
weren't a
surprised.
lot of jump scares in this.
No.
I remembered a lot more. 2 gets a lot more jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple parts in 2 that'll scare you.
But yeah, like and watching it again, once I know when and how people are going to die, it's not scary. to me
I
at
agree.
all.
I agree.
So Todd, you gave it a 3.
A 3. What do you got it?
I'm going to give it a 3 too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I do think it's effective, and I think parts of it are really scary, and I love the opening. 3.
I'd give it a 2.
Okay.
The opening is still traumatizing, but everything past that is like, eh.
Yeah.
You know,
The-
I mean, of course, I've seen it 1,000 times. Like,
But
Yeah,
it is how
you-
scary you think it is today.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not very scared by it. I love it. I'm very intrigued by the whole thing, you know, and I do feel a lot of sympathy for the characters when they do get killed, but it's not that scary.
Right.
Also, I know that the people inside those costumes are a bunch of high school idiots, so like they're not.
And they are idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Lovable, murdery, lovable idiots. What are we watching next, guys?
Oh, it's Halloween season,
Speaking
babe.
of, Todd got a little preview
Yeah.
of our next movie.
We are watching Halloween.
the original
The original
Halloween.
The original
Jamie Lee Curtis
Halloween, and
vehicle.
we are watching that because right after that, we're going to bring you the new Halloween.
Yes.
And Todd is going to have the very, very unique perspective of watching both these movies back to back, like the rest of us. The rest of us have the sequels in our brains.
without ever seeing.
But this new movie disregards the sequels, so you get to see it as
So
it's meant to
the
be
new
seen.
movie goes from the original Halloween to
To the new one,
oh wow, okay.
That's
yeah,
it.
disregards everything.
That's
in
sorta
between.
great.
even Halloween 2. So,
So
yeah,
the
you're gonna
Halloween
get-
series is Michael Myers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct, except for 3, which we'll get to. Season of the Witch. There is no witch.
Every Halloween, people like get up on their horses on Twitter. Either way, that's a very contentious movie. People have
Well,
some
cool. So
strong
Halloween will
feelings.
be the next thing you hear. So watch
Yeah.
Halloween before
Bringing
now.
you the best of the best.
Yep,
in
no, yeah.
October, man.
I'm excited.
All right.
So guys, follow us on socials at Horror Virgin on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is Jenn Ferratu.
Oh, me?
I was trying to get you to plug yourself, but
Oh,
you just
That's
like
why
yeah.
he's pointing at you.
Oh,
you're
sorry.
like what?
I stopped paying attention for a
Who?
minute. That
Me?
was what happened.
So what is your Twitter? And
Jenn Ferratu
there you
on on Twitter and Instagram.
And I am Todd
I'm delightful.
J Awesome. Todd J Awesome on Instagram and
Slightly
Twitter.
less delightful, but
Well,
still follow.
it's mainly running stuff.
Yeah, running stuff, and this is what your girl's like in this picture.
Oh yeah.
This is what your girl's like in this picture.
Yo, dude, me sliding into her or jumping into the DMs.
Which is taking too long in the bathroom.
Oh no, that shit was hilarious, guys. I'm fire with the Reddit crossover memes. I just steal shit from Reddit
Oh,
and
is that
post it
what
again.
that is?
Yeah. I mean, I don't make those videos. I just do
You
funny
don't like
captions
lurk
on them.
around a bunch of porta potties just to get the right moment.
I mean, that does happen, but they're different. They're different.
There's different motives for that one. Right?
Feel free to
Two
stalk me
porta
on
potties,
Angel
two-
Fire.
Yeah. So, follow us on social. Reach out to us. Let us know what you scary scaled it.
Yes, we would
all
love
of
to
that
hear.
good
If you
stuff.
have any thoughts about this, if you read this Final Girl book, I would love.
We
to hear
actually
from
have
you.
been getting a lot more interaction online recently, which has
have,
been
and it's
awesome.
fun,
I mean,
yeah.
like literally when I tweeted out the picture of the poster and saying that we were watching it, what's your favorite moment? We got a lot of people that responded almost immediately, which was awesome.
And hey, we will respond back to you.
Oh yeah, we are
we
very
don't have that
interactive.
much to
Everyone
do.
except for Clint, who's again not on the internet.
No. Oh, and we're also a member of the Modern Horrors podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys,
check 'em
out
out.
all of their
Check 'em out.
podcasts, like
Check
the
'em
Modern Horrors
out.
flagship podcast.
Death, Dying, and Other Things.
There you
Yep.
go, and the Final Girls. Yeah,
Yep. They're awesome.
and if you're listening to us on Wednesday in that feed, go ahead and subscribe to us on our feed so you get it every Monday. Don't have to wait extra 2 days.
Yes.
For the awesomeness that is me.
We got a lot of
And
shit
me.
coming, guys. Halloween
we
season.
do.
We got,
We're
I think,
gonna
6 episodes this
really
month.
Six
fun.
episodes. Six
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah.
And we're already there. Like, it's October. The leaves are changing.
All
Killers
the
on the
leaves are
loose.
brown,
The leaves
No
are
more
brown.
hurricanes.
and the ham
God,
sandwiches
that
are
sucked.
choky.
And the chokey choke.
This is a Mama Cass joke. She
I
died
think it's
choking.
time.
I think
Oh,
it's
I think
no,
it's-
yeah, and
that
you
was
sang,
sad.
and
I'm
you
leaving.
sang it.
Oh,
that's
I'm
amazing.
sorry, Mama Cass.
Clint just rage quit the podcast. But that is
I'm
definitely.
surprised it's taking that long.
I know, right? That is definitely going to be it from us.
Yes, that is it.
So,
So, yeah. Oh,
I'm
whoops.
Clint.
I am the Virgin Todd.
I'm Jennifer. I
Bye.
was premature with my
You were premature laugulating.
premature me laugulating.
Yeah, nailed it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.